Okay. Good sunny day, everybody. It is I, your intergalactic sun prince of the sun, Enyo Solaris to Moshimas. Or you can call me Sol or Solaris if you please. We're buddies, we're cool. You know, fellow anime fans, we're cool. We're cool, you and I. We're cool, you and I. You know, you can call me Soul. But if you really want to be proper, Enyo-sama is usually, you know, is appropriate as well. We're talking about Oshi no Ko Season 2, Season Daimaku ni. I think that's for chapter. Oh my gosh, now we're looking it up. Daimaku. Maybe I made it up. I made it up. I'm sorry to tell you guys. Yep, I made it up. I'll look it up later. We're focusing. I'm focusing right now. We're not gonna play anything, actually. Because we're not playing things. We are talking about... Okay, this is... Hi. We're talking about Oshi no Ko Season 2. And this is the intro bit. And I promise at some point I will stop yapping, but that won't be until the end of the stream. But yeah, if you don't know what this is, basically I announced like, hey, like 2 weeks ago I announced like, hey, in 2 weeks, more or less, usually more. In 2 weeks we're gonna be doing a discussion about Oshi no Ko Season 2. So if you want to be up to date on that, you can watch that. And then I watched it, and now here is the discussion. and hopefully you watched it, because we're gonna be talking about the whole show. We will do do I even want to do a spoiler-free intro for this? I mean, I have some intro things planned, so sure, we'll have a spoiler-free intro for a season 2. Because I think I did that for season 1. We're streaming anime. We're doing anime streaming. It has been since January 16th, 2024, since I last did an anime discussion. And right now is November 10th, 2024. So not quite 10 months, but pretty much 10 months. Don't worry about that one. Listen, sometimes in life, not everything goes according to plan, but that doesn't mean that you can't do something special. And hey, look, that's the theme of the show. So, if you don't know, I did a podcast thingy, stream podcast thingy. I think this is too loud, at least on my end. I think it's a good volume for the stream. But for me, it's a little distracting. Okay, that's perfect. Anyway. Hold on, we gotta do a real quick test. Anyway. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm a professional streamer. I plan things ahead of time. I forgot about the music. I'm a professional streamer. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I did not plan for this. I am so sorry. Anyway, okay, last time, Oshi no Ko discussion. We watched season 1, and my overall thoughts were that it was good, but, I had some problems with it because the show, the show was dragged down by a lot of soapboxing and hitting the viewer over the head with the point. It was like a very much like it was a good show, and then it stopped. It paused the show at some points to be like, hey guys, did you know that in the industry that there are people who they do the thing And actually, and then, like, yeah, and then they're like, okay, cool, thanks for listening to my TED Talk, and then we can go back to the episode. it might have not been like that bad, but like obviously it wasn't like it didn't ruin the whole show for me. It was just like every so often I got a little annoyed by it. But I do understand that the author of the original author, you know, part of the reason why they made this series in the first place was to, you know, spread knowledge about the industry to the masses, to the people. So I suppose so. That's fine. I mean, that's a good ideal. I'm a little bit rambly, and it's been like 11 months since, like 10 months since I last did this. So I apologize, it's a little rambly, but what I was trying to say is that it did not lose me for that. It was a good show. I liked all the characters. I think it was interesting, and sometimes those like little like, hey, here's how the industry works, you know, worked into the like actually worked into the show, like worked into the plot points. Like we were able to see like firsthand, like, hey, this is how things in the industry sometimes go, and then we can see that happen in real time. Like the famous online harassment arc, where they didn't just say like, hey, you know, sometimes celebrities can get bullied online and they get really sad about it. They didn't just say that, they effing showed us that, and I'm still traumatized from that. I was thinking like, is that a spoiler? But I'm like, A, this is a season 2, and B, no. And we'll get into it anyway. So yeah, overall for season 1, I liked it. But I think it was dragged down by a little bit of like stopping the show and having to explain stuff that is not directly relevant most of the time. But it was, you know, it was a good show, especially the first like movie series. If you're watching this without having seen either the first season or the second season, and you're like on the fence about it, just watch the first like movie episode thingy. I forget exactly how long it is. It's like the first arc is like an entire like one episode in the first season, and it's like over like an hour long, which was a really great way to open that. I really don't know how long it is. Oh, an hour and 22 minutes. Yeah, that's a whole ass movie. So watch the movie, and then that's a good hook. Anyway, but yeah, it had a lot of good stuff in it. About, you know, at the heart of it, it was like, hey, here's how people. This is the crap that people go through to make cool art. You know, despite, you know, everything, all the bureaucracy and how difficult inherently art is to make, like, it's still worth doing, and it's awesome when it works out together. And as a fan of arts and artists and everything art related, definitely appreciate those themes. As both a fan and a creator of art, I am a fan of those things. I'm a fan of those messaging. So how did season 2 play out? It's still the same show. It still has some problems. I mean, it's the same show for the most part. It still has some problems with being like a Wikipedia page dump and like being very preachy. But honestly, it was less so than compared to the first season. Like, I don't know, maybe I was just went into it more prepared, or maybe there is actually less of it in here. But I think I might have enjoyed the second season more than the first season. I don't know. There were a couple low points in the second season. But as far as I remember, there's only like a couple of times where they literally stopped the show and we're talking about just something they read on Wikipedia. But for the most part, like, the things that are here, like, the second season focuses on, like, like, the 9 of the 13 episodes focus on, like, one major arc of being, like, the theater play. And, like, they explain that, and then they explain that once, and then they kind of, like, go into more detail, and I like that, because I feel like season 2, like, jumped around a lot for, like, they had to explain this industry, and they had to explain this industry, and they had to explain this industry. So you get an up and down side, because, like, upside, like, okay, we don't have to listen to people explain how 20 different things work, but also there's, like, 2 arcs in this season as compared to the last one, which had 1, 2, 3, 4 arcs. Although I would really say that this one has, like, 3 arcs, because the first 9 episodes are related to the play, but, like, episodes like 1 to 4 and then 4 to 9 are kind of like 2 separate, like, mini arcs. I'll explain, don't worry about it. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I was just more prepared for it, maybe I was more used to it, I don't know. But what I do know is that I still liked it. I had a good time watching this show. It was a good one. I like the idea of a 2.5D play. I'll explain that in a second, but, like, they open on, like, the opening of season 2 is just, like, the first, like, minute and a half is just, like, them showing, like, what a 2.5D play is. So if you don't know, you watch the first minute of the first episode and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. And I want to go to one, but, like, where are they? What else do I have? What else can we say? I watched, this does have an English dub, but I did watch it the Japanese version. Not just because I'm a weeb, but also because I'm not necessarily against dubs, but, I started season 1 in the Japanese version, so I just wanted to continue that. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I might want to rewatch season 1 again in the dub, because that might give me a good reason to rewatch season 1, and B, I want to rewatch season 1 because I want to know, like, is season 2 actually better, or am I just understanding the show more now because I've watched season 1 and like, going into season 2, I already watched season 1 and did that, like, big discussion giving out all my thoughts about it. So I don't know, but maybe through this discussion, we will learn what is actually, if this season is actually good or not, once I get all my thoughts out. Last thing we can put in the non-spoiler section is the opening? Maybe? Is that a spoiler? Is the opening a spoiler? Oh yeah, here's, like, the shot. There are, I show screenshots on screen, so, they're not 100% necessary if you want to listen to this audio only, but I will mention it when it happens. So if you have this, like, pulled up on, like, a second monitor or something, you can, like, look over and see the screenshot. But yeah, basically a 2.5D play is, like, they have, like, this huge revolving the theater is, like, circular, and then the audience, like, rotates to, like, different parts of the stage, and also there's, like, giant screens here. So in this screenshot, you can see there's 2 giant screens that are zooming in on the actors in the middle. And I'm like, that's cool, that's rad as hell. Absolutely rad as hell. Japan gets all the cool stuff. I'm just saying, people call me a weeb, but, is it still being a weeb when it's objectively cooler? Oh yeah, a funny thing that I saw in this opening is when I first saw that opening, I lost my crap because I'm like, there it is! There it is! It's the meme dance! I didn't know the meme dance was from this. I see this meme dance, like, all over the place. Like, pretty much ever since, I guess this show came out, right? How old is this show? I think it's a season or 2. It's gonna do it, like, right as it finished airing. Okay, it's not that old. It's only, like, a month old. it finished airing October 6th. Started airing July 3rd. Yeah, that's about when I started to see those memes. That's really funny. But I had a legit like, there it is. there is no feeling quite like the feeling of spotting a meme in its natural habitat. You're just like the entire world freezes for a moment and you're like, oh my gosh, there it is. It's the meme in real life. And I had that moment. I had that exact moment. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the thing that that dance is from? That's crazy. But yeah, the opening was pretty cool. Opening song was not quite as much of a, like, listen, the opening of season 1 was like, instantly, like, iconic. It was like the top, like, charting song in Japan for like a year or something. So like you can't expect a season 2 to be like, to throw out another like 1 in a million. But this song is pretty good. I like it a lot. I'm not like, I don't talk about openings a whole lot because like my specialty is like writing wise and like characters, story and whatnot. So that's mostly like what I'm interested in. But and anime is mostly like music and like direction, which I'm not super great. I'm not well equipped to discuss, but I can just say I like it. Is good. It has some good shots. It had a beat. I liked it. I danced to it. I would indeed twerk to that song. I'm not gonna lie. Also, in the opening, there was like this shot of this mysterious character, and then immediately afterwards, this mysterious character. No idea. Ah! Oh my gosh, what happened to me? Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now, no idea, man. I have a theory, but we'll wait until the end. When we're out of when we're in that part of the discussion to talk about it. And also, for some reason, we have who is there, and she's not supposed to be there, and I don't know why she's there. Like at the very end of the opening, they're like bowing after the play, and like Ai's there, and I'm like, what are you doing there? Where did you come from? Why are you there? I think she's just there, like, metaphorically speaking. Okay, I think that's all I got for spoiler-free discussion. It was cool. I liked it. If you hated season 1, then season 2 is not going to change your mind because it's a lot of more of the same. But if you like season 2 and you're kind of on the fence, or if you like season 1 and you're kind of on the fence, definitely give season 2 a try because I don't know, like I wasn't super huge on the first season, but I really enjoyed my time with the second season, so maybe you might have a similar experience to me. I don't know, man. Hold on. Wait 1 minute. Wait 1 minute. I'm trying to look up the names. Thanks to, by the way, real quick, thanks to Brian Sui for the eye asset, because characters have like stars in their eyes, and someone made a VTuber, Brian made a VTuber asset that actually goes away when you blink. That's crazy. And then the layout was by Lilith. I have the it's a very fancy layout. It's supposed to be just a general like stream layout where like the chat goes to the left and the like follower count or whatever goes to the top right, but I am adapting it for my purposes. So yeah, it's a very nice layout, so you should go check out both of those in the description. Now let's get on to spoiler territory. You have been warned. I'm gonna type in the chat. Just as a reminder, that's always like a rule in my chat, is no spoilers for something that is not currently being discussed. But in the... Hi, how's it going? Nope, hold on. Just doing some stretches, don't worry about it. But yeah, that's usually like the broad overview rule for my stream, is no spoilers for things that are not currently happening. So if I'm playing a video game, no spoilers past the point that I am, or for other video games. But just this one in particular, just make sure. just keeping an eye out. My viewers are pretty good about that. Also in the comment section too, to know like manga spoilers, whatever. I'm just talking about things that are up to the ending of season 2, which I think is like episode... I don't know. Because the anime itself lists the episodes like it's a continuation of season 1. So I have it written down that season 2 is episode 1 to 13, but I think it's actually like 12 to 24. I'm using the number that I have. Mostly because on my anime list, that's how I kept track of what it was. But if you want to be pedantic, not technically starting at episode 1, starting at episode 12, but season 2, episode 1. You get the idea. Anyway. Yeah, let's just effing start. Assuming my throat doesn't get thrown out. I think it's just allergies. I'm gonna tell myself and to just hope for the best. Why can I make this? Okay, that just looks wrong. Okay, we're talking episodes 1 to 3. Let me get a quick drink. Non-spoiler people, this is your last warning. Because spoilers are starting now in 3, 2, 1. Why is she in the crowd? Is she supposed to be dead? Why is she in the crowd? Why is she like a ghost? Is she like secretly alive? There's no way. There's no way she's secretly alive. We all saw her die in cold blood, but this is a universe in which like reincarnations exist, so like, you know, there's a non-0% chance that this is not perfectly this picture is not perfectly aligned to this. Okay, now it is. There's a non-0% chance that I is alive somewhere, but I think that this is just them like, hey, you know, I is still looking over them, you know, still watching over them from beyond the grave or whatever. But again, this show has reincarnation, so I don't trust any characters' deaths, but we'll take it for the time being. We'll take it for the time being. Is there anything else about the opening that would be a spoiler that I would want to discuss? I mean, we find out who, at least one of the characters in the opening are. But we will talk about that when we get there. Meow, meow, meow. Where the fudge is this my screenshot? Yeah, this character. We see this character, but we do not see this other character. Unless I'm wrong. Well, I might have a theory who that character might is, but let's go in chronological order. 2.5D stage play. I have way too many goddamn screenshots. Here, we'll just use the screenshot for the time being. Okay, so I know I was just saying, hey, season 2 is a bit better than season 1, but then season 2 has kind of a slow start. Like, I would say these first 2-3 episodes are kind of a little bit like slow because they're just like kind of diddling their feet a little bit because like they're okay. So here's what happened last time. So Aqua is still trying to find who killed his dad. He's trying to find his dad because he's just like, oh, his dad is probably has something to do with his mom's death. So that's the lead that he has, and he's like one of the people working on the play La La Lai, I think the company is. One of the people in that company, or like I was related to that company in the past. So he has a good suspicion that somebody in that company knows about his past. So he accepted to be in this play in order to get information out of it. Because Aqua, he's always scheming. He's always scheming. He's always thinking. He's always scheming. I'm still trying to figure out what my like computer layout is going to be if I want my if I want to like tab out of my thing like all the time. I'm just moving it around haphazardly. Don't worry. And I'm gone. I fell. Oh, I fell and I can't get up. Okay, I'm up. I got better. I fell, but I got better. Okay, let's not have that happen again. But yeah, Aqua is trying to find who killed their dad. Oh wait, no, who killed their mom, so he can kill him. You know, because that always goes well in every anime, obviously. You know, the whole revenge thing. But we all know that Aqua's a ambiguously evil, good, maybe. Morally gray is what I was looking for. I swear I've not gone even part way through my notes. I swear I will get back on script at some point and stop rambling. Again, haven't done one of these in like 10 months, so whoops. This might be a little bit rusty, but it's fine. So yeah, episodes, Aqua's still looking for who killed his dad, and I mean, who killed his mom? It was his mom that died. Let's be perfectly honest. Let's be perfectly frank. One of his moms died. And we assume the other one is also dead, probably. I don't know. We get a little bit of explanation of that at near the end of this season, but we did not particularly. Anyway, so the season starts with them just kind of like, we are training for how this play is going to go, and how this play is, it is a stage play adaptation of a made-up popular manga series called Tokyo Blado. I mean, I guess everything is made up, but in this made-up story, there was a made-up popular manga series called Tokyo Blade, and it's like we get a very solid throughout this arc. We get a very solid understanding of what this series is, but it's basically like a shonen battle anime, essentially. All you need to know is that it is a popular manga, and it's popular enough to get a stage play with a bunch of teenagers, I guess. Is that normal? They talk a couple of times where they're like, oh wow, I'm surprised that there's so many teenagers in this stage play. That doesn't usually happen, but they mention it like once or twice. They don't act like it's super out of the ordinary. They just be like, oh, that's interesting. They just kind of be like, oh, okay, cool. So I don't know, man. But it's like a professional production. Like all these people are like working for like agencies, and like it's like a legit production. So I don't know, man. My guess is that it's not common to have teenagers in large scale productions like these, but we need to have an anime, and our anime is about, as with most anime, is about high school students, so we just need to, yeah, there we go. We're just gonna hand wave like, oh, that's weird. But anyway, but they're really talented. I can vouch for them, is what one of the, like, people of the company said. Like, okay. We're just gonna move on. Anyway. Let's actually talking about my notes. A lot of the first, like, beginning arc is them, basically saying about, like, explaining a lot of things. So that's why I'm like, this has a little bit of a slow start. But, like, after episode, like, 2, and definitely when we get into episode 4, it definitely gets a lot better. But at the beginning, they're just talking about they're preparing for this the show, and they're talking about how rough of a time that adapting a manga into a play is, because it's a manga is not a play. Particularly Akane, who is I might not have a screenshot of. Okay, I lied. I have like 50 screenshots of Akane. Here, this one. Because there was a lot of Akane in this season, which was a little surprising. I mean, she did have like a big arc in the first season where she tried to jump off a bridge because of the whole like internet harassment thing. It sounds really dumb when I say it out loud, but you watch the show and you're like, holy crap. Because, you know, this anime is very good at like showing you the emotions of what is happening. So when I talk about it, I'm just like, bro, you gotta trust me. It's crazy. That's why I kind of assume that, like, okay, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you've seen the show. Otherwise, you're just getting spoiled. and you gotta trust me about this when I say, yeah, that was effed up. Anyway, so they're talking about the adaptation from the manga to a play. Like, all the people have like read the manga, and Akane, the character that Akane is playing, she does not like change in her character. She's like, wow, you know, my character in the series, you know, went from having you know, mixed feelings over like the big war that was happening, and now they just like cut that all out, and now she's just like, yeah, let's fight, let's kill them all. And she's like, isn't that a little bit out of character? And the like screenwriter is like, yeah, well, it's a little out of character, but you know, we gotta cut corners somewhere. It just took up too much screen time, you know, it's fine. It'll probably be Daijobu. It was not Daijobu. It was indeed not Daijobu. But yeah, he was like, yeah, he changed things to save time and makes things simpler. And right off the bat, I was like, I disagree with that. Because, like, okay, yes, I understand. It is difficult to adapt different things across different mediums. You know, I've been in the anime community for a large portion of my life, so... And most anime are adapted from other things. So I'm very familiar with the discourse of like what is good and bad to put in to change from in an adaptation. And you know, one of those, and I would say changing an entire like character's like personality just because we don't have enough time to get into it is kind of like I disagree. I feel like sure, cut scenes, cut whatever, cut like abbreviate some things, but like to change an entire character is kind of like to change like the attitude of an entire character is kind of, I think, is pushing it a little too far. And then I'm not alone in this thought, because immediately afterwards we meet the original creator, who is this cute little depressed girl in the background here. Apiko sensei, I want to say. Okay, here we go. Apiko sensei. Because when I first made these notes, I just called her manga author. But then later I started calling her Apiko sensei. So Apiko sensei comes in and she's like, so I was looking over the script, and can you I want to make just a tiny little change. I want to make just a tiny little change, just a little change, just one thing. And they're like, sure. What do you want us to change? And she's like, the whole thing. the entire script needs to get thrown out and redone from scratch. Which I think that's how episode 1 ends, actually. I think episode 1 is a lot of just like dilly-dallying, and that might be the ending of episode 2. I'm not sure. Episode 1 is just called Tokyo Blade. Oh yeah, no, episode 2 is the telephone game. Okay. So yeah, that's the cliffhanger. That's the cliffhanger ending for episode 1, is the manga author comes in and was like, you gotta throw out this crap and change it all. You gotta start from ground at 0. And everyone's like, so yeah, she basically argues that it's understandable some things need to change with an adaptation, but character personalities need to stay the same. So she agrees with me, even though she thought of it independently because she doesn't exist, and also was written before I had that. But whatever, we both came to the same conclusion. So yes, we see eye to eye that changing the personalities is a no-no. Which is, you know, we all agree, but I still, you know, feel bad for the scriptwriter. Again, they do a really good job in this show of like portraying like the emotions of each scene, and they show that like the scriptwriter, I forget his name, but he did his best, you know. He's like a well-renowned scriptwriter, and they explain that basically like in the telephone game, they basically explain that, you know, there's a long line of communication between the original manga author and the screenwriter. It has to go through, like, the editor, and it has to go through this person, it has to go through that person. And, this is kind of one of those points where, like, it turns into, like, a Wikipedia page dump, but I like it because it's, like, story relevant. They didn't, like, stop the story to explain something about the industry. They explain something of the industry because it is relevant to the plot. Like, what happened is that Abiko Sensei's like thoughts were not communicated efficiently. Like, she was like, yeah, this whole thing is effed up, and then by the time it eventually got to the scriptwriter, the message became like, some tiny changes might be necessary. You know. So that is actually a good instance of the show being like, hey, here's how it be. So I do feel bad for the scriptwriter, because it's not really his fault. Like, he did his best with the information that he had. But like, yeah, Abiko Sensei's requests were not communicated properly enough. So they're like, holy F, what the F do we effing do? We gotta do this play in like a month. We already have all these things ahead of time, you know, all of the corporate bureaucratic nonsense of like all these things and people things have been set up in advance, and we cannot change the timeline. So how are we gonna change the script and have the actors memorize the new script in like a month? So they're all panicking. Meanwhile, we get to learn more about Abiko Sensei, and I quite enjoy her character. She's a bit of a weirdo because, you know, she got like success very early on, and because of that, oh yeah, here's the line of succession, by the way. This is how many effing people is like the original manga author, the like editor, and then so and so and so and so. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in between these two. And then later on, they just kind of like sit and talk with each other. It's like the episode where Abiko Sensei is like, hey, you need to change the whole script. She just comes in and says that. I'm like, could you not have met in person later? Is there some specific reason that they... Because they didn't really explain that. Because later they did just, like, sit down in person and talk about it. And I'm like, why couldn't they do that earlier? I don't know. I guess it's because it was just communication that you know, to the screenwriter, he thought everything was fine, and Abiko was like, I have some concerns over the script, but I'm assuming that, you know, my feedback will be communicated properly, right? because there's no way that's gonna get screwed up when there's so many people involved in the communication process. Don't worry about that one. But yeah, I like Abiko Sensei. She's a weirdo and very passionate about her work, and I hard relate. She also had a funny scene where she's like, I'm gonna brush my teeth, and then she's in the bathroom using 2 toothbrushes because she's like, it's faster. It's optimal. I didn't want to make you wait because for me brushing my teeth, so I just want to use 2 toothbrushes at the same time because it's optimal. And I'm like, I like that is funny. It's just little tiny character moments like that I appreciate a lot. Wonder if there's some way to make this like into a slideshow. And yeah, all of her expressions are adorable. This is her being angry with the production staff. But yeah, we soon learn about Abiko Sensei and like, because at the beginning, like, she's kind of treated like a jerk. She's like, oh yeah, here's the shot of the screenwriter being like, oh my god, I can't believe I messed up so bad. I feel like such a failure. Yeah, there, screenwriter, it's okay. There's also like a mini arc because Akane and Aqua are still pretend dating for publicity's sake because they were on like a dating show. Don't worry about it. So they had like a date to a live play where they explain more about how the play works, and I kind of already explained that. Meow, 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 meow. If I can talk more about why I like Akane better, but let me just say, Akane is definitely one of the characters where I'm like, I definitely want to rewatch season 1 because Akane was barely even like on my radar in season 1. Like she had some like, I can only remember like 2 or like 3 scenes that were like really good that she was in, but I don't remember like her overall presence. So that's most. And then rewatching, like watching season 2, like she's one of my favorite characters now. So I'm like, man, I should go back and rewatch season 1. See what I was blind to. But yeah, anyway, Akane was the first one to point out that there was something wrong with the script, because she was like, hey, this character is completely different. I don't know if it works. So I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, so yeah, we have this conversation in episode 3 of where we learn that Apiko is like, because she does, you know, weekly shonen manga, she's super stressed and super insane all of the time. So there was like, and she also is like responsible for, she's like, they're like, we can't rewrite the entire script in like less than a month. She's like, and then she's like, fine, then I'll do it. And then, you know, her friend, I forget her friend's name. She's like another like manga author. I can look this up. We have the power of the internet. I can't look this up. The power of the internet is not good enough. Was this it? Yoriko? Let's go to the Wikia. Meow, meow, meow. I guess her name doesn't really matter, but it matters to me, damn it. Meow, 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 meow. Yoriko is a supporting character in Oshi no Koshi. She's the mangaka behind the manga series I'll Go With Sweet Today. Oh yeah, they did. I think she was the author of that drama that they filmed in the first season. Okay. Anyway, she's a friend, so she comes over and she's like, oh my goodness, hi, what are we doing? We're talking about anime. I toast. If you've not seen this anime, spoiler alert, we're talking about episode like 3. You made me lose track of my thought. Oh yeah, okay, so Abiko Sensei is a shonen manga writer, and she's like super effing stressed. So anyway, what you missed, Toast? Losing it. They're preparing for a stage play, and I haven't seen it, but I'm listening. You know what? Maybe you might want to watch it after this, even though I'll spoil the whole thing. But hey, you know, I have listened to a spoiler discussion podcast of an anime and been like, oh, that sounds cool, and then go watch it. So, you know, I would like to avoid spoilers for things if possible, but it's not like if I know it, I can't watch it, you know what I mean? Anyway, so spoiler is a spoiler, you know what? Fair enough. Is this why is chat not showing on screen? Chat. It's on like top. It should be on top. Meow, meow, meow. Or was it showing on stream and I was just Meow, meow. Okay, no, it's showing on stream. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just crazy. Anyway, so they're doing okay. We're getting back on task because it's been like almost an hour and I'm still not past like the 3rd episode. And I have the least to say about these first 3 episodes. So we're gonna get, but I've been mostly yapping, so let's get back on track. Late, I sprained my ankle in football. Oh no, did the ball not go in the hoop properly? Oh frick. Sorry to hear about that. I hope you feel better. Don't worry about being late. So yeah, they're preparing for a 2.5D stage play so Aqua can find the person who killed his mom, which is his dad. He's trying to find his dad who killed his mom so he can kill his dad. Does that make sense? The ball did not ball. So he's doing the stage play, and the stage play is an adaptation of a popular shonen manga called Tokyo Blade, and which is a fictional series inside this fictional series. Don't worry, it's not confusing at all. Daddy issues? I know, talk about daddy issues. I think that's like a theme. We'll talk more about it in the later episodes, but I think like daddy issues and mommy issues is definitely a very large theme in this series, something that comes up a lot. So yeah, so they make the stage play adaptation of the Tokyo Blade, and the original mangaka comes in and is like, hey, I hate this script, please rewrite it. And they're like, well, we only have a month. And she's like, I don't care, I'll do it myself, whatever, you know. And then we find out that she's like, you know, Abiko Sensei, you know, she's a weirdo, but she's very passionate about her work, and she's under a lot of stress because she wants to, you know, she's got a sudden surge in popularity after her like first manga. So she is not sure how to handle like being having one of the most popular series enough to like get a stage play adaptation. So she's just like, we get a scene of like her in her room just be like, I gotta make this perfect. I haven't slept in like 18 billion hours. And her other mangaka friend on the right here comes in and A, helps her finish her deadline, and B, is like, hey, you know, maybe things wouldn't be so hard if you worked with other people. And she's like, I don't know, I don't work with other people. So yeah, Abiko Sensei is like a super introvert, but she does want to make friends. But like the pressure of the manga is like making it harder. Because she's like, oh, every time I try to work with other people, they just don't do it right. They're just not quite perfect. They don't quite, you know. 18 billion hours is crazy. I'm pretty sure that's like 5 years. Anyway. No, she was like, oh yeah, you know, I got 2 hours of sleep last night. It's fine. But yeah, she's like introverted mostly because of her circumstance. Because like she has so much pressure to make, like because she suddenly got so famous, she's under a lot of pressure to make her series as good as it can be. She doesn't want to let down all those fans. So she's kind of like a control freak when it comes to her things. So she comes to not trust other people because they're not as good as she is with her art. So she's like, I'm just gonna do it all by myself. And so her character arc is like, her friend comes and is like, hey, you know, it's when working with other people, you have to make compromises, and that's okay, you know. Not everything has to be perfect, you know. You can either try to make everything perfect and do everything by yourself and get super burnt out and not have any friends, or you know, you could just make a little tiny compromises here and there and try to meet people halfway and you know, not get burnt out and make some friends along the way, or be social. So I think that's a cool little character arc. I hope that she comes up more. I don't see her coming up a lot more because like she's the creator of the stage play, of the original version of the stage play adaptation. So like after they're done with the stage play, I don't know why she would come back, but they found a reason to bring the other girl back. So because she was the original creator of what they did a TV drama at. The second option is the best, yet she chooses the first option. And then she had a character arc where she chose the better option. She's like, yeah, maybe I'll try. They're like, they worked all night to finish her deadline. Like she's like her best friend, so she's like, you're the only person I trust that can help me finish the backgrounds on this last chapter that I need to work on. So they work for the night, and they're like just passed out on the floor with the sun coming up. And they're having like this deep conversation, and she's like, yeah, you know, maybe I will trust people. Bestie just like that. Exactly. And she's like, yeah, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I will try meeting people halfway and you know, not being so, you know, introverted and you know, stuff like that. And then that's the end of episode 3. And then we have episode 4. Because usually I do like arcs of like episode 1 to 3 and then like 4 to 7, the end. But I'm gonna make I want to make an entire like bullet point out of this episode, because episode 4 is a 10 out of 10 episode. Because I was a little iffy going into season 2, because the first, like, 2 episodes were a little bit, like, kind of just establishing some things and being a lot of, like, explanation heavy. Like, just being a Wikipedia page dump. Again, it was somewhat relevant. It's relevant to the plot sometimes. Yeah, episode 4 was, like... And then, like, okay, then things started to pick up in episode 3, where we got, like, a little character arc with Abiko-sensei. And then episode 4 is just, like, absolutely insane. Because, first we get a good conclusion to the script arc. Because this is kind of like what I was talking about earlier, where people complain, like, oh, man, this arc is so long, it's 9 episodes, as opposed to, like, the 3 to 4 episodes that all the arcs in season 1 were. And I do agree that's a bit long, and I don't know if they necessarily use all that time effectively, but this one big arc is kind of split up into, like, episode 1 to 4 is like working on like the script, and we're talking about Abiko sensei and whatnot, and then, you know, 4 onwards, like 5 onwards, 5 to 9 is just about the play, you know. So it's not like as much of a like big chunk of like just one thing as people are making it out to be. It is a long arc, but they do break it up a little bit. Anyway, episode 4. I need to remember how to breathe. Again, it's been like 10 months since I've done one of these. And my throat is feeling a little scratchy. But episode 4, I think, but episode 1 to 3 was a little like meandering. But episode 4, I was like, I was locked in. It's all right, thanks. Episode 4, I was like locked in. This is a 10 out of 10 episode, because the first half is the ending to like the script arc. Gets a really good adaptation. We get one more swig of water. So the script arc gets a really good conclusion. I'm gonna try to move my... I think this explains the whole anime. the script arc gets a really good conclusion. So Abiko Sensei, you know, after doing her little character, she did a character arc, and she basically is like, okay, fine, I will meet the director halfway through, and basically, what the fuck did I just click? Okay. Drink 120 ounces of water today. That might be too much water. So yeah, she basically sits down and is like, hey, I'm ready to meet you halfway. We're gonna let's work together. Instead of making an entirely new script, let's work together, and let's try to revise the current script that we have to make it work, right? So they come up with like this idea. They literally, what they do is they literally get in on a Zoom call, and they have the script like open in Google Docs where everybody can edit it, and they basically like sit there all night like revising the script, like Abiko and the script writer like working together. Are you okay there, Toast? Abiko and the script writer basically just like work together, like direct communication, and yeah, they have a Zoom all night Zoom meeting where they finally communicate, and like they make a script that they both like they are like, oh, like they really worked like together really well because they are both like passionate about their work and they're both good at what they do, you know. Something Kodomi can't communicate. I should watch that. But yeah, I think this is but yeah, they are able to finally communicate, and they work together to fix the bad script to make something that both works as a stage play, because they're like, oh yeah, if you try to just revise the script by yourself, it won't work at all because you are not experienced in stage play writing. But the stage player doesn't necessarily have the fullest understanding of what the manga is supposed to be about. So they're like, what do we do? Oh, I have an idea. Let's work together. You know, they sit down, they have a Zoom meeting, they finally communicate, and they work together, and they're like, oh, let's make changes here. Oh yeah, no, let's tighten this up a little bit, you know, and they work together, and they are able to make something better than what they could make on their own, you know? I think this is a really good example of like when two talented artists collaborate, that they can make something like really special. And because like they could not do this on their own, you know? Abiko Sensei did not have the screenwriter like skills to make a good screenplay, and the screenwriter was not as intimate with the source material to make, you know, the characters represented properly. But if they worked together, then they could make something better than the sum of their parts, and I really like that. So yeah, it's a good example of when two talented artists collaborate, they make something they can't do on their own. They make something special. Like, that's why I like to collaborate with artists so much, for that exact reason. Like, for example, with my VTuber design, the designer Tete Sensei and I, we went like back and forth on a design. Like, I had a original like rough concept and then sent it, and then they sent me a rough concept, and I'm like, oh yeah, can we change this? And then that, blah blah. There was a lot of back and forth. But like, because of that, we were able to come up with a design that I think is like better than like what either of us could do on our own. You know what I mean? And I really like how it turned out. So yeah, I like that a lot. I like collaborating and making art cooler than what you could on your own. There are certain arts that you can only make on your own, but if I tried to draw your model, it'd take me 5 years and tears. I don't think it's actually like the model. I've drawn my model itself, or I've drawn myself this design before. It's not too hard. You just have to believe, because that's why I think really works well about my design, is because it is, look at me, it is simple but very nice looking. I think it strikes a good balance of not being too simple, but also not being like too complicated. Anyway, so yeah, I think that was I like that in everything, in media. So yeah, basically, I like it when two artists can come together to create something greater than the sum of its parts. You know, like, what was that? I think that's like a theory, like in math or whatever. Or I think it's science. I don't know, man. Don't ask me. But as an artiste, I can definitely see, you know, Abiko put her use of the characters and like the source material to the best of its ability, and then the screenwriter used his screenwriting skills to make a good script. Hand is shaky like that, and my patient don't have patience. Same, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, going back to the actual episode, so yeah, so in that little, like, it was a really good, like, conclusion to, like, the script arc, like, because we saw, like, them working back and forth in this Google Doc about, you know, making this, like, thing better than it could ever possibly have been, and it's really good. And I like it. And here's some more cute shots of Abiko-sensei of being really happy with the finished product. So yeah, I think that's just that's what the show is about. The show is about, you know, good character and interactions and good character development while also showing something profound about art. I think it's also really cool. And it also flows perfectly into the next arc, I guess. It's still all like the play arc, but after the script arc, we have like the actual, they have to do the play arc. And I think it flows good because the script they came up with relies heavily on the actors doing a good job. Because they're like, they cut corners and were able to fit in like character details because they've like relied on the actors like expressing like certain things in their acting alone, not necessarily like in words. So they got the new script. So all the actors got the new script and they're like, this seems a little hard. This seems a little challenging. So we're like, ooh, how are they gonna do it? Meow, meow, meow. And then, so the first half of the episode's already great, and then the latter half is about psychological trauma. Okay, so maybe that's not like the best thing, but like, okay, here's basically what happens is that Aqua, our main character on the left, is like thinking about like, how do I put emotion into my acting? Because like, you know, doing emotions is not necessarily something Aqua does. He just thinks about trying to, yes, trauma, my favorite thing to learn. Hell yeah. Like trauma. Also, unrelated note, you know, if you look up a series, you type in Oshi no Ko IMDb, you look up that, the IMDb page, and then you can scroll down to somewhere, Parents Guide, and then that will give you a list of like, that will give you basically like a list of like triggers and whatnot that could be happening here. Because yeah, the show does deal with a lot of like very serious topics. I don't think it's nothing quite as serious as the first season, where Akane had suffered from severe bullying. But things do get pretty intense. So as for most of my streams, would recommend doing some quick research. Serious is never too serious. Anyway, yeah, you've been warned. Look up that on IMDb is a good place to just look up like trigger things. And for most of the shows I've looked at, they do a pretty good job of like, sometimes they're a little bit nitpicky, but I guess it's in the cases where like in cases of frick, I can't think. In cases of like trigger warnings and stuff, it's better to be a little bit more nitpicky than not nitpicky enough. That makes sense. All right. Okay. So anyway, so we're gonna talk about this character's dead mom. Only anime I ever watched was DBZ, Naruto, and One Piece. Toast, you sweet summer child. I'm sorry for the psychological trauma I'm gonna have to be talking about here. So basically, Aqua is like, I don't do emotion. Let's have a slightly more serious song. That's too serious. I don't even know if that's Audible. Audible.com. Not sponsored. Yo mama. Oh, it was? Okay. Well, now it's not Audible. Okay, now it's Audible. Okay, anyway, so first half of the episode, gonna get back on track, I promise. First half of the episode is a really good conclusion of the script arc, you know, people working together, making things better than what they can do on their own. That's really cool. And the later half of the episode is about PTSD. Play Adopt Me music nighttime, I beg you. I don't even know what that is. I only have a list of songs I'm allowed to play. I do not want to get in copyright trouble. Anyway, okay, PTSD. So Aqua is like, hey, I have to be like emotional. I have to, you know, really act from the heart and, you know, think about things that, you know, how to try to be emotional, because Aqua's, you know, ever since he died, he has not, you know, he's been just or actually even since then, like his entire lives, he has just been like, you know, kind of like unemotional, very straightforward, and especially after his mom died, after his second mom died. You know, he's just been very like straightforwardly focused, laser focused on just trying to find Ai's killer, you know. It's all he's been focused on, so he doesn't really know how to like emote. So then Kana's like, hey, you know, try, like, if you want to bring out some really sad emotion, try to think of something sad, like, I don't know, let's just think, for example, like, how would you feel if your mom died? And he's like, I can actually envision that very clearly, thank you, Akane, because that actually did happen. And then, okay, so it's between that and also, so he freaks out a little bit because he's like, he has this whole big flashback of Ai getting stabbed and murdered. And he is like, oh yeah, I'm very intimately familiar with that feeling, and he tries to like brush it off. And then later he's like thinking to himself like, okay, that's how I do sad emotion, is I think about sad things, but like, how do I think about happy things, you know? Like, let's try to think of a time when I'm happy. And then all of a sudden, like, metaphorically speaking, this like dark figure appears behind him in his head. This is all in his head, and the dark figure's like, oh, do you deserve to be happy? You couldn't even save Ai from getting stabbed and murdered. And his little star in his eye goes like completely dark, and he legit has like a panic attack because he is like thinking about awful things, my average thoughts. But like, it's not like, listen, this is one of those things that's kind of hard to talk about because like, it's really hard if you haven't seen the show, but if you've seen the show, you understand, like, it's crazy how like they accurately like portrayed a panic attack, like actually, like he's trying to think of time he was truly happy to help him with his acting, and then he's overcome with guilt about Ai's death and has like a real ass panic attack with like really gruesome visuals, and also sound design too is like insane. And they also use like, it's not just like, oh, a character freaks out, like they actually use words like panic attack and PTSD. So like, and I think that was one of the like best parts of like, okay, I don't know, that was one of the more memorable I don't know if I want to say best memorable parts of season 1, where they talked really about like how this whole art and stuff and things can affect like mental health, which is not very common to talk about in Japan. Somewhat related note, it's interesting how a lot of like mental health words in Japanese are like loan words. Like panic attack is like panic goshogen? Panic goshogai. So shogai just means disorder, and paniku is panic, and then PTSD is PTSD. So that's interesting. Give an insight out of Run for Its Money is what you're trying to say. Okay, listen, I know I'm not supposed to like Western media, but yeah, the, yes, Inside Out 2 also had a panic attack scene. That was well done, whatever. Anyway. But I just really appreciate, that they did not hold back. Like, they have this, like, these gruesome visuals, and then, like, he's, like, knocked down to the floor, and he like starts like throwing up in his mouth and like having like a headache. Like he has like a real ass panic attack because of his like trauma with like in background with like Ai and whatnot, because he feels like horribly guilty. And they explain, they're like, oh yeah, his like father figure, not his actual father, because he's trying to look and find and kill his father, but his father figure is like, oh yeah, you know, he's had trauma, he's had panic attacks about his mom's death ever since, you know, his mom's death. And he's like, I tried to make him go to therapy, and he went to therapy like once or twice, and then he was like, oh, I'm all better now, because he didn't want to worry his like sister. But he's definitely still obviously struggling with this. And we get some cute moments of Akane, because Akane is like, you know, it's I said Akane is like became one of my favorite characters this season, because she's like in a weird position where like she's like his pretend girlfriend, because they were like on a reality TV show, and then the ending of the reality TV show is that they got together and they're like, okay, let's pretend to be together just, you know, to keep up appearances. So they're like business dating. But at the same time, Akane also still cares for Aqua, because Aqua like saved her life when she was being bullied and tried to jump off a bridge. So Akane still cares about Aqua, and through this scene, like she hears like Aqua like muttering, like having like a nightmare, like PTSD nightmare flashback, and she puts it together, and she hears that Aqua said something I, and she puts it like, she basically figures out his secret, because the whole secret about how he is Ai's son, and so she basically puts 2 and 2 together, like, hey, he has trauma with a dead mom, and he just, you know, in his sleep said something about Ai, so she's like, and I did die around the time that would happen, and so yeah, she basically put 2 and 2 together and figured it out, but she didn't like say it out loud. She didn't tell him. She just like, he woke up and he's like, why are you so sad? And she's like, I just thought of something really sad, but don't worry, I'll always support you because you helped me in my time of need, so I will help you in your time of need. And it's very sweet, and I like it a lot. So she's like, you know, then she also like somewhat knows that like, because again, half of the reason that they're like business dating is to keep up appearances, but also because Aqua wants to be like in the entertainment industry, close to the entertainment industry, because he's trying to find his dad. And so, Akane, it's really awkward because both of these characters have A names. Akane, the blue hair girl, is very much supportive, aware of all this, and supportive of Aqua, the main character blonde guy. So I just think that's a nice thing. Is like yeah, you can say like, she's just being a, you know, supporting a generic anime waifu, but like she has a good reason to. She has a good reason to. Like back in season 1, like he basically like saved her life by not only preventing her bridge jump off attempt, but also, you know, helping like repair her online reputation. Like he basically like single-handedly did that, like mostly out of the kindness of his heart. It's always hard to tell with Aqua. But we're gonna interpret that as mostly out of the kindness of his heart. It can be two things. But yeah, I don't know. Again, that's kind of why I want to rewatch the first season after like seeing more of this, or at least that one arc that happened. What was that? That was episodes 5 to 9 of season 1. Meow 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 meow. Yeah. Anyway, struggle with bullying. When I talked about the person I told that to, I said was the one. I cannot read. Hold on. Go to therapy. Everybody needs to go to therapy. I hope after this whole show, I hope the ending of this show is all these characters go to therapy. Because they did go out of their way to say that Aqua went to therapy like twice and then lied and said he was all better just so he didn't worry his family. Not a good reason to leave therapy. Meow, meow, meow. I've lost my place. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually. So yeah, I enjoy Akane for two reasons. A, you know, she's just a sweetheart, and she's adorable. Look at her. Look at her. But also, she has a good reason. Look at her. She has a good reason to be so wifey, for lack of a better word. Because don't worry about we haven't talked about that one yet. Hold on. She has a good reason to, because again, Aqua basically saved her life, and so she's like, hey, this is the least I can do to help you. And she also like sees like through Aqua's like deceivingness and understands that he's doing it for like a good reason and that he's like a nice guy. Because Aqua's a very like complex character. Because most people see him as just like a wannabe light Yagami, but you know, he has a lot of things going on, you know, with, you know, he died, like that one time he died, and also that one time his mom died, you know. But yeah, anyway, episode 4 is like the best episode because again, it starts with that. It starts with a good ending to the script arc, and then it also goes into like actually showing like Aqua as a character, and also Akane as a character. So I think it was like after this point that I was like, oh yeah, I'm a Akane, you're officially on my radar. But also, all y'all need to go to therapy. Okay, episodes 5 to 9. We can do this. If we go at this rate, the stream will only be another 3 hours. If we've covered 4 episodes in an hour and a half. But I think that's like, no, I still have a lot of notes left. Okay. But yeah, that episode was like a 10 out of 10 episode, just because it had a really good, really good character. It had a good combination of like overall plot points and like how art relates to character dynamics, and good, cool messaging, and talking about mental health, which is a rare thing for anime and Japan in general to do. So, you know, good things all around. And I got sold on Akane. So yeah, characters have trauma, deal with it, and then get help. Again, if this series does not end with all the characters going to therapy, I don't know what like, I don't know what else you would do. Anyway, so Akane is like, hey, you know, tell me the truth. What's happening? I want to help you. And he's like, the truth? You can't handle the truth. And she's like, oh, you big dumb baka. And then he's like, well, maybe I'll just tell her a little. Aqua's like, maybe I'll tell her a little tiny bit. And then Aqua's like, okay, so hypothetically, if I told you that the reason that I got into the entertainment industry was to kill somebody, how would you respond? And she's like, I would help you kill them. And I'm like, Akane? She just dead ass stares him in the eyes and says, I'll help you kill them. I'm like, Akane? Listen, I know honest reaction of hers. just the that's not hold on. She's like, I'll kill them. What did that do to my... Okay. It's a little star eyes. It's like a little star eye. I don't know if you noticed. Talked about it at the beginning of the stream. That characters in the show have little star eyes. And someone Brian made a VTuber asset about it. That actually works. It goes away when I blink. That's crazy. But, that and the layout, this awesome layout is... Who made that and also the layout is linked in the description. Anyway. So she's like, yeah, I'll kill them. I'll kill them for you. Looks like a tiny sun. It is a star, not a sun. Very different objects. But yeah, I like how Akane is like 10,000% like, yeah, I'll throw down. I'll kill for you. You saved my life. It's the least I can do, right? And then she does and then she goes back to being cute anime girl smile. And we're just gonna try to forget about hear me out, the sun is a star. You're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. I guess I should have put that in the last section, but that technically happens at like in episode 5. Anyway, and then starting in episode 5, we begin like the arc proper. I was gonna look this up. I'll look this up later. Because when Ruby insults Melt's acting, she compares him to a radish, and I was gonna look that up. Just don't worry about it. I don't know. I don't know what it means. The English subtitles, I think, said something like, "Oh, he has really bad acting skills," but in Japanese, she like compared him to like a radish. So like, don't worry about it. If anyone knows what the fudge she meant by that, please let me know. I'm assuming it's like a weird Japanese saying. This is why we need like the little translations on in like the TL notes at the top of the episode, or at least somewhere. Because I was watching Blue Exorcist, and one of the characters said like, "Oh man, I'm so busy, I'd ask a cat for help." And then the like translator note explained that this is a common phrase people say in Japan when they are busy. She said what? She was insulting his acting skills, and she compared him to a radish, and I have no idea why, and the English subtitles did not bother to explain that at all. It just, the subtitles just translated, like, left out the radish part and just said, like, oh, you're such a bad actor. So I have no idea what the fudge she meant by that, but because in the Japanese version, she literally said, like, oh, you're like a radish. A radish is famous for bad acting? I don't know, man. Don't worry about it. If anyone knows, please let me know, because I'm very curious. Anyway, back to what I was going. Back to what we were talking about. So yeah, they set up a this show kind of turns into like a shonen battle manga for a second, because they set up this, like, they set up two rivalries. The rivalry between Akane and Kana, who are trying to like outperform each other in acting, and also their characters are fighting in the actual show. And then we also have Aqua and I wrote down his name, Taiki, who are also, you know, rival actors. I really like this part of the show because they really like I like how they play up the parallels of the rivalries of the characters in the play and the characters in real life. Because, like, the characters in the play, like, the play in the actual, like, in Tokyo Blade, they are actual, like, rivals and fighting each other. But also, in real life, these actors are, like, trying to outperform each other. So, that's really funny. Specifically, Akane and Kana, because they have, like, some backstory that we'll get into in a minute. But, yeah, I think that's really funny. I think that's a good use of the acting setting for a play where, like, in character and both in real life they are adversaries. So you get cool moments like this. I searched it up, so bear with me here. I can try to search it up later. I would have to, like, look up the actual, like, quote. Japanese culture, comparing someone to a daikon, the Japanese word for radish, is usually meant as a positive comparison, saying that the person is honest, straightforward, much like simple and readily available nature. Pulling up the episode. What episode was it? This is how it'll be. I think it's episode 5. This is how this is, this is how this is going to be, like, 4 hours long. I was like, we're gonna keep this under 3 hours this time. I will not do a super long stream, and then here we are again. La 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 la. You don't hear. You don't hear. You don't hear. You don't hear. Are you? I can't. Okay. Muted. Da, da, da. I think I found it. It's in the part of the episode where Aqua is, okay. Aqua is insulted by the possibility of, Ruby is insulted by the possibility that Aqua and Akane, could be romantically involved. Okay, we're doing it. I'm gonna... Meow, meow, meow. Okay, so the subtitles are, "You're that guy from Sweet Today who's a rotten actor to the roots." Whatever the fudge that means. I will unmute it briefly just to hear what she said. Actually, I can mute my, hold on. I can avoid copyright trouble by just muting my speakers, and now we can see. Now I can just play the clip. Daikon no Hito. What the fudge does Daikon no Hito mean? Yep, we still don't know. We looked it up. We still don't know. Because what you said, in Japanese culture, compare someone to a daikon is usually meant as a positive comparison, and signifying that the person is honest, straightforward, and reliable. Much like the simple and readily available nature of a daikon radish, it can also imply that they are a bit plain or ordinary, depending on the context. Maybe that's what it is. Because, yeah, I just double-checked. The episode. And, and she just says, daikon no hito, or a daikon person. So, don't ask me, man. So yeah, I'm assuming that she means that he's like a plain or ordinary, like in terms of like acting style. Like there's nothing like special about him. I have another doctor appointment for my ankle. Have a good doctor appointment for your ankle. Hello, Miss Jack. Okay, we are focusing. We still know. We're going to assume when Aqua compared that guy to a daikon, she just meant that he was ordinary, but I still might make a clip about it just to see if anyone else knows. Hi, I said hi. I said hi too. We're all saying hi here. Hi, how's it going? Anyway, we're on episode 5. 5 out of 13, and how long are we into the stream? I'll try to not be so rambly. Yeah, we're 1:40 into the stream. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So they have this rivalry, and then I want to say episode 6. Yeah, the first 9 minutes of episode 6 is just like 9 minutes of uninterrupted like footage of like the play that they are performing. Like here's a like shot. They just like unedited, like they keep this shot. Well, no, they do have a different, like they do have a couple different shots, but it's mostly like trying to give you a good picture of like this is what like a 2.5D stage play is like. Also, shouldn't it technically be like 3.5D? Because it's technically 3D, but like I don't know. I think it's just like meant to invoke the idea of like a 2D movie, but also it's a play too. So it's not quite a play, but it's also not quite a movie. I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, I like that. But I like how the first 9 minutes of episode 6 is just like uninterrupted footage of the play. It kind of reminds me of if you've seen the show Rakugo Shinju, where they would just like show uncut Rakugo plays to just give you a good idea of like this is what Rakugo is. So like yeah, I like that. Of just like, hey, you can see what a play is like, so you can understand like the scope of like what they are doing and appreciate it better. So not super necessary. It's one of those things that aren't like super necessary to the story, but I like anyway. It doesn't add like anything tangible to the story, but it does like improve the quality of the story a lot. I like it. Yeah, they have like some shots where they show like behind the scenes. I'm searching it up. The results are getting crazy. Don't do too much research on daikon radishes in Japan. You will quickly go down the rabbit hole and you will never recover. Why did I save this screenshot? I think this was a mistake. Because in this episode, okay, going to the daikon person in question, he has a really cool moment because he's been kind of like up until this episode, episode 6, he's been kind of like in the up to this point, he's kind of like been in the background. And he's been kind of like worried about like he knows he's like the most inexperienced actor there, and so he's really worried how he's going to be compared alongside all the other actors, and that is true for the most part, because for like most of his performance, like they show audience reactions of like, oh, this guy isn't very good, is he? Like, I don't know about that one, guys. But what's actually cool is that he used the fact that he sucks to his advantage to surprise the audience, because he poured all of his practice into one scene, into this like the shot that I'm showing here, and this one scene that is like, he put all of his practice into this one specific scene, so he could absolutely effing master this one scene where like he does like a backflip and does like a flip with his sword and does a really cool line, and like, so he was able to pull out like one random thing, and he was able to surprise everyone because they're like, oh my god, I thought this guy sucked, but now he's just doing something really cool. Like, that's crazy. And I like that a lot because I was actually thinking about that like earlier, because like I think a powerful tool in art is setting up expectations and then breaking them. Like, the element of surprise is a very powerful element when you are talking about art. Like, for example, in like Pokemon Black and White, in Pokemon Black and White, that's like mostly a 2D game, but like sometimes like they do tricks with the camera and they have like 3D effects. So like Pokemon Black and White's like rare use of 3D is like way more impressive than like any of the actual 3D Pokemon games, because it's unexpected when it happens. I don't know, maybe that's an unfair comparison, but like any 3D game in general, like, you know, they pull out like N64 graphic effects and you're like, whoa, this is revolutionary, but it's not revolutionary. It's just you have expectations of the game up until that point of being like a 2D pixel game, and then when all of a sudden it starts spinning the camera around and having like 3D like dragons fly out, then you're like, it blows your mind. And that's a very like powerful tool in art, and I think that's cool how they like showed that off here, because he was like able to take advantage of the fact that he sucks at acting to set up the expectations that he's a bad actor, and then he practiced one scene really hard and he was able to like surprise everyone and be, you know, to stand out, you know. I think that's really clever and really nice and a good way of putting different types of the ways art can be cool into anime, and I like that. So yeah, that's just a really cool scene, because I was just like, that's it, let him cook. He also gets like this really like trippy ass like dream sequence where he talks about his life. That was weird. I don't have anything to say about that. I just wanted to point out that it was a little weird. And we just get some more cool shots of, this is Akane's character in the play. And then she's fighting off against Kana's character, both in the play and in real life. So we get some background of Akane, why Akane and Kana hate each other so much. So basically the story is they like, it literally does turn into like a shonen like battle anime for like half an episode, because we have like the actors, like the characters in the play, like fighting with like swords and whatnot, while also like like having anime flashbacks about like their lives. So like they kind of like reality and the acting start to like blend together a little bit, and I think that's really fun. But like, yeah, basically Akane, when she was a little baby Akane, hold on, let me pull up a picture of baby Akane. Here's a picture of little baby Akane at the library. And here's a picture of sad Akane. Okay. I did not get any other footage of baby Akane. Or screenshots. Okay, so basically, when Akane was a baby, she admired Kana's acting, because she's like, oh wow, that's a kid my age, and she's a big time famous actor. That's really cool. And then she like by happenstance met Kana in real life, just like randomly one day. Like, she got into acting because of Kana. She was like inspired by like her acting. She's like, wow, she's a child genius actor and she's my age. That means maybe I could be that cool one day. So she got into acting because of Kana. And then she happened to meet Kana in real life, and Kana was an a-hole. As you know, is sometimes the case when you meet your like celebrities in real life. But in Akane's case, it was mostly because like she was jaded towards the industry, because like they kind of go, I think they talk about this more in season 1, but basically Akane is like was a genius child actor, and then as she started to get older, like she started like losing like work and whatnot because she wasn't like a child anymore. So she got even at this point she was very like jaded toward the industry, and Akane is like, oh my gosh, I admire you, you're so good at acting, and Kana's like, F you, you know, the industry sucks, nobody's talented, you gotta cheat, the talent, nobody cares about what actually having talent, you know, they just care about name recognition, whatever, F it. And so that, so then you're like, hey, you know, my celebrity that I grew up admirizing, you know, is of a-hole, and also B, super jaded towards, the industry. An online friend and bro was so mean online, and when I found met him on IRL, he was the shyest person I had ever met. That's really funny. But yeah, I should have reorganized my notes again. It's been like a couple of it's been like almost an entire year since I last did this, so I apologize if I'm a little out of it. But it's fine. But yeah, they also, but blah 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 blah. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to put this together. Okay. So, here's the deal. Real fast before we go back. Yeah, I'm just looking at my notes, seeing what I didn't talk about. Okay, yeah, so I like how they play up. I talked before about how they play up the rivalries of the characters, both in the play and also real life. So, like, Kana on the left, Akane on the right are rivals, like, in acting, but also, like, they're rivals in the play. They're trying to kill each other, and they really play that up, and I think that's really funny. To the point where, like, it's reality and fiction start blending, and, like, this show actually starts turning into, like, a battle manga, where, like, in this scene, like, Akane outperforms Kana, and afterwards she's like, that wasn't the real Kana, that was the jaded, miserable Kana. That wasn't the Kana I admired when I was little, you know. I don't want to beat Kana like that. I only want to outperform her when she's giving it her all. And I'm like, that is some battle manga ass crap right there. There's no honor in defeating you unless you're at full strength. You have notes? Yeah, now I search a summary up and call it a day. You see how long I'm yapping with notes? You think, do you know how long I would go on without notes? But I think that's really funny. That, like, it is just a battle manga at this point. Or they at least had a battle manga moment. We also get some, like, interesting, like, scenes where, like, we have the real characters in front of, like, on a stage with their background history in the background. Really funny. But yeah, we learn why Kana was such an a-hole. It's because of, say it with me, childhood trauma. Because her mom placed really high because she was a child actor, her mom placed really high expectations on her. And when work started drying up and she could not live up to those expectations, her mom started going effing crazy. So this is like her saying, like, you have to be perfect, you have to continue being a child actor, you know, while their apartment is like surrounded by trash, and then her parents are fighting because her mom's going crazy and her dad is like, F that. So we get a little bit of justification, and then basically Akane is like, I'm just gonna, you know, she's just kind of at this point just kind of going with the flow, trying to like barely keep her head up in above water in this industry, you know, try to get any work that she can. And then so she's like, I don't care if I have to be like the background character, you know, because her whole thing is like, during that scene where, like, you know, Akane wanted to outperform her at full strength, but she wasn't at full strength. The reason that Kana was not at full strength was because she was like holding back her acting to like fit in line with others and not actually going all out. So and that's like something that she learned. She's like, oh, you know, if I just, you know, do what others are doing and don't go all out, then I'll, you know, be able to work better with others and get more acting jobs maybe. So she's been holding herself back. And then she's like, but then you came along, main character love interest, and you showed me that, you know, I didn't have to hold back and I could stand on my own and shine. And they had this metaphor with like a lamp, Aqua shining a lamp on Kana. These names are all over the place because Aqua and Akane sound similar, and Akane and Kana sound similar. What were they cooking? What were they cooking? So after she remembers that, she's like, okay, fine, I'll go all out. And then we have this moment where, you know, she's acting with her heart out. And then we have a cute moment where Akane sees this and she's like, oh my gosh, there she is! There's the childhood actor with all that spunk that I admired when I was a baby. And she has a little fangirl moment. Because Akane still is a fan of Kana because she has good acting, but she has not been like going all out. So she hates her. They have a love-hate relationship thing going on. They're also going after the same man, so that's also a bit of an awkward thing. But yeah, I like that a lot. Confusing ass names. Anyway, now we go back to panic attacks. I don't need to show this. We're going back to panic attacks. We'll go. I saved the screenshot for me, but that just says panic shogai, right? Looking it up again. Panic shogai, or panic disorder. Akane is reading a book about panic disorders. And we go back to a little bit where, you know, Aqua uses, how do I have this written down? Hold on, let me go back to my notes. We're going back on script. We're going back on script. So, going back to his panic attacks, we are reminded again that he is bent on revenge. He just wants to find the guy who killed his mom, and that's the reason he got into acting, you know. Let's move this so I can have both this and on the stream at the same time. Two of my friends like the same boy. They have been BFFs for 6 years. They both know, and they like the same dude they know. Are your friends in a rom-com or a whatever this show is, rom-com hiding in a whatever this show is? Anyway, so we get reminded that we kind of get reinforced that like we get reminded that Aqua's doing this for purely out of revenge. So when he needs to, you know, when he okay, when he like, you know, and then when he like, and then, you know, forgot about that part. Okay, so what happens is Akane's character dies in the play, and then Aqua's character has to lose it, and he thinks about his dead mom and the emotions that brings out of him, and then he bites someone's jugular off. I also like how the bunny ears kind of line up with this. But like he remembers like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for revenge. I'm doing this to find the guy who my mom killed, and then he brought, or finding the guy that killed my mom. So he's bringing out those emotions, and he got a little too into it, and he just straight up bit that guy. I think that was in the script. Nobody was like, I mean, everybody was like, holy shit, look at his acting, but I don't think nobody seemed to be too worried that he just bit into that dude's jugular vein. I don't think that's in the jugular vein, but you get the idea. But, yeah, he brings out that emotion. I think I know how this ends, but I'm not sure if this is anime or not. We gotta wait until, season 4 for that, sorry. For both this and the thingy-bobber. Anyway, so then what happens? The ending of the play is Akane's character dies, and then Aqua's character gets all like, you know, remembers the, you know, his quest for revenge, and then puts that into his acting. You know, good way to show like how you put yourself into your art. Even, you know, if it causes, panic Goshogai. And then the ending of the play is that Akane's character gets brought back to life because, they're in an anime, or not because they are acting out. It's really confusing, because this is an anime, but it's more serious than actual anime. Anyway, so through the power of love or whatever, Akane's character comes back to life, and Aqua's trying to think like, okay, how do I say this emotion? You know, how do I what kind of emotion should I bring out if somebody who I thought was dead came back to life? And then in a memory scene, a fake memory scene, the show just stabs us in the chest by showing a hypothetical scene of what if I lived that day. And we have this scene of I like, aha, you thought that would kill me? Haha, just kidding, I'm still alive. And then Aqua's like crying, and I'm like, why do you have to make me hurt like this, anime? And then he was able, by imagining that, he was able to, you know, have a really good emotional end to the play. Again, all these characters need to go to therapy. Including me. I am not exempt from that after what the show did to me. Because you can't just show, oh, what if this character who died actually lived, hypothetically speaking, but we know it's not real! It's not real! That was such a hard scene to watch. Because I was like, oh, you don't... Why are you reminding me? But yeah, it's really sold the emotions of the scene. But yeah, that was the ending of the play arc. By the way, side notes, they showed, this is the like stage, this is like the building that they were at, that they did this play at. I found, and I took the screenshot because I wanted to look it up, and I found out that the IHI Stage Around Tokyo theater is a real place, and it was also like, it was in the anime's credits as like special thanks to IHI Stage Around Tokyo for letting us use your like building likeness in our show. So like, it's a real place, and I'm like, oh cool, I should go there next time I go to Japan to see a 2.5D play. It's closed. It closed last April. Why? Why? Why would you do that? You had this super popular anime advertising your place for free. I don't know if it was for free. It was, but still, they might have actually paid for the rights to use IHI around stage Tokyo. Why? Fire in the water. Why? But they had this super popular anime advertising it, and I guess they just got bought out, and they're owned by a different company who may or may not continue doing 2.5D stage plays. I think their current... It's really hard to research this, because it's like a cliff note on its Wikipedia page that this is closed, and the only thing that I could find was like a Japanese press release that had very vague wording. That they're like, oh yeah, you know, we bought out this company, we bought out this place because we want to turn it into a cultural artifact, and we're gonna make it into a museum, I guess. But maybe at some point they might do 2.5D stage plays. But they also did, I think one of the last performances that they did was a stage play adaptation of Final Fantasy X, I think. What was the one with Titus? Final Fantasy X, yeah. If you look up IHI Stage Around Tokyo, you will find that it is a real place, and their last thing before they closed was a stage play adaptation of Final Fantasy X. So that's funny. We're almost done? Question mark. Because that was episode 9. So, you know, overall, the play arc was definitely a bit longer than any season 1 arc. But I did like it a lot. I did like it a lot. It had a lot going on between like the script, Aqua's trauma, the Akane and Kana's backstory, like Akane becoming like a character. Almost, I don't even remember what I said almost to. It's been 2 hours already. Oh, almost done, yeah. But yeah, I liked the play arc a lot. It was definitely a bit long, but it had a lot of stuff going to. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it was basically split up into 2 segments between episodes like 1, 2, 4 being like the script arc, and then like the second half of 4 to 9 being like the actual play arc. And there was a lot of things that happened. I've been yapping for 2 hours about it. And I could yap for some more. As much as I yap, there's always things I could be skipping over. But, you know, for the sake of time, let's just move on. To the next and final arc. Yeah, we'll do this picture. I don't have any other picture of it, so we'll just use this one. Okay, like, listen, I get it. People are like, oh, you know, it's the whole, the whole, like, plot of season 1 is, like, trying to, the driving force is Aqua trying to find who killed his dad, who killed his mom, you know, and then this whole play thing was just for that end. And we have to wait like 10 episodes until we get a payoff. So I understand, but as far as like, okay, it didn't necessarily advance like the main story, but like the main story is not all that there is in an anime, right? Like there was a lot of like, you know, character arcs and like themes and a lot of other like really interesting good stuff that was in this the first 9 episodes. So like, I think people who are complaining about like, oh, it's still the main plot though. It's like, guys, look at the characters, look at the stories, look at the character arcs. There's some good stuff here. Give it a shot. But I do admit that, like, yeah, okay, 9 episodes was there was a little bit too much play arc. It could have been cut down a little bit. But I did like what we have, so you know, whatever. So between Aqua trying to kill his father, he only ends up suffering more and not getting help. Heavy, oh frick. Hold on, I gotta fix this. This is not quite fit in. Okay, we're good. We're good. We good. Okay, so we do actually listen to that arc's credit, even though it was very long. We do somewhat get some definitive answers. So afterwards, so after they finished the play, they're at the after party. They're celebrating. They're doing the nomikai. You know, they're having a big drinking party, or at least the adults are drinking and the kids are drinking orange juice. Even though Aqua is like technically like 40 at this point at least, but you know, he got reincarnated, so he's still like 17, so you know, whatever, don't worry about it, don't think about it too much. Anyway, so they finished the play, they're at the party, and Aqua finds out through, you know, DNA testing, because he'd been doing just DNA tests on everybody that could be connected to him or to try to find his dad. So he finds his half-brother, who was that guy from earlier, Typhlosion? I forget his name. He's only relevant for like that one episode where they're like, yeah, I'm your half-brother. And he's like, wow, it's cool to have a half-brother. What the fudge was his name? Taiki. His name is Taiki. So yeah, Aqua's like, hey, you're my half brother. Do you know what happened to our dad? And then he's like, wow, it's cool to have a half brother. Because you did the stage play, as your reward, I will give you information. So he basically is like, okay, so our father's already dead. So yeah, he finds so through this whole play arc, he finds his half-brother and finds out that his biological father is dead. And then he's like, what do I do now? That was my purpose in life, was to find my dad so I could avenge my mom. And then now I found out that he's already dead. So like, what do I do now? You know what we do now? We go to therapy now. In the series, we go to therapy. Now we go to therapy and we process all of this. And then the show kind of like loses steam. Because like, you know, in the back of our minds, we're like, yeah, we know this isn't like the end of the show. You know, even if Aqua, you know, thinks his move your ass to therapy. Even if Aqua thinks his dad is dead, you know, because his half brother said he was dead. And he's like, oh, I'm free. And then, you know, that like evil, you know, that evil, like, you know how his star in his eye turns like red and dark and evil. It just, you know, disappears. It vanishes. It goes whoosh. He's like, I'm free. I don't have to dedicate the rest of my life for revenge. I can just live my life now. And he's like happy, and we're like, good for you, man. What are we gonna do for the rest of the series? So yeah, so we kind of have bit of a slow arc. We have like one slow episode. Like episode 10 is like, you know, at the end of like the play arc, we find out like, oh, his dad's dead. We find his half brother, and his half brother's like, yeah, our dad's dead. And he's like, oh, okay, now I don't have to do revenge anymore. And then like the beginning of the next arc is kind of like a little slow, because we go back to getting slow recovery after this one. Because yeah, we go back to, what the fudge was this? Oh, I remember. Hold on. Anyway, we go back to hold on, I got it. We go back to Wikipedia page dumps. So, like, we're like, okay, well, the main motivation, the main reason that we're watching this show, you know, the main character's motivation is gone. So, like, what do we do? And, like, oh, yeah, the main character, there's a kind of a secondary main character, his sister, who's also a reincarnation person that will become more relevant later. But just in case you forgot or didn't know and are watching this without watching the show, which I wouldn't recommend, but do you. maybe watch the show afterwards. Maybe this will convince you to watch the show. We'll have a very interesting experience. But yeah, so we go back to Aqua trying to be an idol, because that's like her thing. Maybe I'll watch it. You should. Anything that I've said sounds interesting. You would only be spoiled for the first 2 seasons. There's probably another like 2 or 3 seasons on the way. Where can I watch it? That's a question you have to answer. I think it's on just Google it. Just Google it. It's fine. Just Google it. It's fine. Yeah, so we go back to Ruby, not Aqua. Okay, so the main character, Aqua, he's fine. I think I'll find it, okay. So Aqua, he is the guy. He's fine. He's like, oh, I can finally be free now that my dad's dead and my quest for revenge is over. And he's like, what do I do now? And I'm like, first, you go to therapy. Is what you do. But he just decides to just kind of hang around and, you know, be present. His star, like, completely disappears. Like, he doesn't have, like, a positive or negative star anymore. So he's, like, hollow, I guess. And the characters comment on him. He's like, oh, you've been kind of, like, mellowed out kind of recently. And he's like, well, you know, don't gotta worry about my quest for revenge anymore. Found it nice. So yeah, anyway, we talk about Ruby. Ruby is his sister. The girl who called the guy the radish. This girl. She's trying to become an idol with Kana and Mem. So by trying to become an idol, they start like a YouTube channel, and then they have like a Wikipedia page dump, and they bring out the graphs where Mem is like, well, you know, 75%, you know, of YouTube channels, you know, never get more than like 2 subscribers, you know, and statistically, and then they just go on, and I'm like, I guess, like, again, the point, I know a large reason that the creator wanted to, the next sibling's nickname, we shall now be Radish. I don't know about that one. She called someone a radish. She wasn't called a radish. But anyway, I know the series is like, the creator of the series made it partly to tell people about the industry, but like, you know, as a YouTuber, yeah, I know about all of this. About how, like, 75% of channels don't get, you know, more than 1,000 subscribers, I think is what they're showing here, and then, you know, the other 20% only have like 1 to 5,000, and then like the top 1% have they do like a weird class thing. They're like, oh yeah, you know, the top 1% hoard all the wealth. This is worse than the Middle Ages. And I'm like, yeah, just good thing this is fiction and not reality. I don't know why I saved this one. Oh yeah, I saved this shot because kind of has gamer girl headphones with the cat ears on top. The Middle Ages is crazy. Oh yeah, and I now remember why I saved this screenshot, because they're filming for their YouTube channel. They're filming like a room tour, and then they mention like, oh yeah, you know, you gotta invest in a expensive lock for your door, because you know, when you're in an idol industry, you know, you run into some weirdos, so you got to make sure you have protection. And then during that moment, Ruby kind of like looks sad for a second, and then like immediately cuts away. Like, I didn't like, I barely like noticed it the first time I saw, but I think that's a really funny attention to detail that while they're talking about front door locks and safety, Ruby is briefly seen being like, oh yeah, that's how my mom died. Oh yeah, I remember now. Back when my mom died. I don't have a good screen. I won't traumatize you with that screenshot again. Okay, fine, I'm traumatizing you with that screenshot, yeah. So I thought that was a fun, subtle reference? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, this is where the Oh yeah, okay, so in the credits here, it says Shoujo question mark question mark question mark for the voice actor credits. What do you mean you don't know who acted as the young girl in this show? What do you mean? Did they just want to go uncredited? Why is the credit just question mark question mark question mark? And then here's where it says IHA Studio. Anyway, not important. So episode 10 is a bit of a letdown. But then things immediately kick back up with episode 11 because we have a really so we have a slow start to the next arc where Aqua has no motivation and the show's back to being a Wikipedia page dump and the girls are trying to work on their YouTube channel. And then immediately, for one episode, and then things start getting, like, really super emotional because Aqua is, like, struggling to decide what he wants to do, like, relationship-wise now that he's free. He's like, well, you know, the only reason that I was, you know, dating Akane was, you know, for publicity and also to try to get, like, information about my dad out of her, like, because she could be, like, a valuable asset. So he's like, well, do I break up with her? Do I actually like her? I don't know. You know, there's a lot of, like, you know, deep thoughts happening. And then they have a really emotional scene where they literally, I don't know why, they have, like, a pseudo breakup scene where they go back to the bridge. There's a emotional pseudo breakup scene that just so happens to take place on the bridge that Akane tried to jump off of. I don't know if that was intentional. They do make a note of it. They're like, oh yeah, during like the scene, they're like, oh yeah, you know, we had some great times together. You know, remember on this bridge you saved my life? And I'm like, huh? Who decided to come to this bridge? Because either way, it's crazy. If you want to break up with a girl, do not break up with her at the bridge that she tried to jump off of. Or maybe it was Akane's idea to come to that bridge. Maybe she was like, hey, maybe if I take him to the place that I almost jumped off of and died, maybe then he won't break up with me. Or maybe it was just happenstance. Maybe they just kind of were walking along and they just happened to have this conversation on the bridge. I don't know why. It's so weird. Nobody actually jumps. There was a attempt to jump in the first season, which is why I find it weird that they went back to the same, like, place. Where the fudge am I doing? Where the fudge am I doing? But yeah, Akane is cute in the scene. But yeah, but outside of that, this is a good scene. But that detail just distracted me. Why did they go to that spot specifically? I guess it was just because they were like reminiscing on their relationship together, and they're like, this is kind of where it started when you saved me on this bridge. I guess still weird, still a weird play. But yeah, they talk about their relationship, and they're like, hey, you know, I don't really like need you anymore, and I don't know if, you know, we should continue this relationship. And they both talk about how, like, maybe, like, they don't have romantic feelings toward each other. They don't necessarily, like, they're like, oh, maybe, like, but they're like, both, they're like, we don't know how, we don't understand relationships, so maybe this is just how relationships are supposed to be, or I don't know, like, they say, like, oh, do you want to do lewd stuff? And he's like, well, I'm not saying that's not an interest of mine, but that's not, like, the main driving factor of the that's not the only thing to consider in the relationship. And she's like, yeah, fair. So yeah, it's a fun reveal, and then, or no, it's a cute little scene. But then it's cut off because you know, she goes in for the hug. She goes in for the hug and says, you know, no matter what, we'll still be friends. But they didn't technically break up because, like, you know, like right before Aqua was about to be like, hey, like in the middle of their conversation, Aqua brought up like, hey, I'm gonna be a little honest with you right now, and I'm gonna say, the reason I've been, you know, where's the layout going? Yeah, most of my screenshots are just cute Akane pictures, I'm sorry to tell you. But yeah, so Aqua just they're just having a really good heart-to-heart. It's a good scene. So Aqua just casually mentions, not casually, they're having a heart-to-heart. Aqua mentions is like, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you and I'm gonna tell you more about my backstory. And he's like, the whole reason I got into acting in the first place was because my mom got killed, as I'm sure you are aware because you were there during my panic attack. And the reason I got into acting was because I wanted to find my dad who killed her. And then he's like, well, recently I found my half-brother, and he said that my dad is dead. And then Akane's like, oh, that's cool. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Because she starts thinking, you know, that's why I like Akane. She starts, you know, using her head. This thing right here that I'm pointing at. Another reason I like Akane, she's not only cute, but she's also smart, because she's like, hold on, and then she starts putting like, she's like, hold on, we'll have to continue this conversation later. She runs off, and she's like, okay, she starts putting all this together, and she's like, oh my god, he doesn't know, his dad is still alive. I'm not sure how, but Akane is like, how did he like, he's so wrapped up in wanting to like be done with that part of his life, he did not see the obvious loophole in that logic. Because the show doesn't explicitly state, they just say that like Akane figured out that his dad is still alive, and that there's a loophole in Aqua's logic of, I found my half-brother's dad is dead, so obviously that means my dad is dead too, right? Which I think, and then they show like, oh yeah, their dad is still alive, and Akane's like, oh my god, do I tell him or not? Do I ruin his life and tell him, or do I let him live in peace? So like, and then they have a really cool like ending where Ruby is visiting her mom's grave, and then her dad, like, she passes her dad, who's like in evil sunglasses and like presented like an anime super villain, like he's got like this big like cape thing, and he's like talking evil monologues. Yeah, that's so like anime trope, like, oh, the guy you've been looking for this whole time, he's right there and you didn't see him. So yeah, like we kind of already knew, like, because the series isn't over yet, so like, and like they're not gonna just end that big plot point on like such a like, oh, he's already dead, never mind, okay, I guess we move on, end of show. No. So like, obviously, like, we like from like 2 episodes ago, we knew that this was going to happen, but we didn't have to wait long to, you know, have the other characters realize it. And it's still like a fun reveal, like the way that he like, it is like a super anime villain with the whole like keep flying and like evil monologue thing he's doing. But yeah, my guess is that like either the DNA test was wrong, or that they're half brothers on their mom's side. No, that doesn't make sense either, because we know, or like Aqua knows, that that was like her first and only pregnancy of having the twins, so I'm not sure where that lot. Maybe I'm just dumb. Because Akane like figures it out, and then she's like, how does he not see the loophole and how his dad can still be alive given all this information? But I don't. I mean, I know that their dad's still alive because A, you just showed me, and B, like we wouldn't have a show. But now we're kind of in a interesting position where like Akane is like in an awkward spot. Is this what you meant by tell me bro makes the right choice about Akane, like saying like, oh my gosh, do I tell him that there's a flaw in his logic and that his dad is still alive, or do I let him live in peace? Because Akane saw firsthand what this did to him. Akane, like, you know, back, you know, in the fudging PTSD episode, like, you know, we saw this firsthand, and Akane is like, oh, don't worry, I'll support you always. Yeah, okay. So I think she decides to plot his plotting. So like I understand, I can understand her plight, because like on one hand, like, yeah, like telling him would probably be the right thing, right? Because like he has a right to know, because if his whole mission in life was to, you know, find his dad and kill him. But also Aqua's happy now, like now that he thinks his dad is dead. So, and telling him would ruin his effing life and bring him back onto that path of destruction and probably make him a serial killer. Not a serial killer, a murderer. So like, what do? Do you not tell him and let him be happy, or do you tell him and, you know, force him back into that life of being miserable? And she's like, I don't know. Currently thinking about this way too hard. What would you do? Would you tell him? Would you tell him? He has to find out at some point, otherwise we don't have a show. But I don't know. I'm almost out of water, but we're also almost out of notes, so that's cool. We have like three episodes left. Yeah, I think that was the ending of like what episode was it? Yeah, it was the ending to episode 11, which was called Freedom, which they should have put in quotation marks. Yeah, so we have 2 more episodes left. So yeah, I don't know. I like Akane because A, she's smart, B, she's cute, and C, I don't know, she's an interesting character because, you know, with all of that information that she has, she is in a very awkward dilemma that doesn't really have a clear answer or not. So she's kind of like stuck in purgatory of like, I don't know whether to tell him or not. So I guess in her indecision, she chooses to not tell him for the time being. And then we get a backstory episode. Meow, meow, meow. Where we get introduced to a new character. I forget her name. It's on screen, but it's too small and I can't read it. Meow, 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 meow. Is this character's name a spoiler? Not this character, another character. Oh, her name, that is her name. Anemone. Anyway, me neither, I don't read that language. Well, her name is the highlighted part in pink. Anemone. Oh my god. Anemone. That's her name. Anyway, we're just gonna call her the producer girl because while this is happening, the girls are planning a trip because they are in Tokyo, but they plan a trip to southern Japan, to Miyazaki Prefecture. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Miyazaki Prefecture. That's where they went. Not to be confused with the guy who made, trying to think of, like, the least famous Ghibli movie I could think of. I don't know. They're all famous. Not to be confused with the guy who made all those movies, but Miyazaki, the prefecture, that's like pretty much on the southern tip of Japan. They have to take a plane to get to Tokyo to Miyazaki. So they're like, so this lady, Mem knows this lady, and she lives in Miyazaki, and she's like, hey, I can film a PV video, I can film a music video to put on your YouTube channel, and that will give you lots of views. So they're like, cool, let's do it. Or I think Mem sets that up. So anyway, they go to Miyazaki to try to film a music video. I think they filmed 2. But whatever, you get the idea. And they're like, oh, hey, you know, since, you know, Kana is still trying to go for Aqua. Also, Kana and Aqua had, like, a date episode, but, nothing too important happened there. I'm sorry to say. Other than they're trying to make Kana a viable. I just whistled there again. 28 more minutes for a doctor's appointment. Hopefully, I aim to get the stream under 3 hours, and we're at 2:34. We should be able to finish. Anyway, so Kana's like, hey, why don't you come with us, Aqua? It can kind of be like Tokyo Blade R&R, you know? And he's like, okay, cool, I'll go. I don't have anything better to do. It's not like I gotta go kill my dad or anything. And then he also invites Akane. And Kana's like, oh, why'd you invite that other girl here? I thought this was gonna be a romantic date or whatever. And he's like, what? And she's like, what? But yeah, so, and then we're 2.5 hours into the stream, and I'm trying to make it under 3 hours. So, yeah, we have some backstory, basically. We could skip over this a little bit. But yeah, they go to Miyazaki, which is where, both Aqua and Ruby died previously. Can I mention that is like the biggest plot point in this series that annoys me? Is that like, why? I think I complained about this in the first part of this. I'm tweaking for real, relax, it's okay. Okay, so like at the beginning of the series, there we had this like doctor and like this cancer girl, and they were like best buddies, and Cancer Girl was like, yo, you're the best doctor ever, I'm stuff like that. They were close. They were like close. And then Cancer Girl died, and then right before I gave birth, that doctor guy also died, and then Doctor Guy reincarnated as Aqua, and then Cancer Girl reincarnated as Ruby. But they don't know that. They know that they're, like, reincarnated babies, but they don't know who each other are. So, like, this entire series, I'm like, just tell each other, just say it. Like, why would they not bring this up in casual conversation? Like, talk about their past. Like, why at no point, like, they're siblings that know that they are reincarnated babies. Like, so... Like, and they mentioned that, but, like, why would, at no point in their, like, 16 years together, being brother and sister, would they not mention, like, oh, by the way, in a previous life, I was a doctor. And she's like, oh, that's funny. In a previous life, I was a dying girl. And then they realize that they know each other. That has to happen before the end of the series. Like, there's no way that it doesn't. But, like, it's annoying that it doesn't happen until this point. But that's, like, the only thing that, like, really super bothers me is that's like, plot contrivance. Are you telling me that, like, they don't mention that at all? Anyway, especially since this next arc kind of, like, hinges on that fact. But yeah, we have some fun moments where, So anyway, they go back to Miyazaki, where, the previous lives of, Ruby and Aqua died. and they have some fun moments where, you know, Aqua's like, oh, I can almost see the past, or something to that effect. I'm not sure exactly what this scene parallels. He kind of like remembers his time being a doctor with Ai before he died and was born again. And he's remembering Akane. This is just an excuse to have a cute Akane picture, I'm sorry. And then I will refer to her as Crow Girl shows up, and then she is like so Aqua is like looking into his past life and also telling Akane about his past, about like the doctor who died, aka his past life, but he's not saying that to Akane because he's telling most things to Akane. He's told her about like his like reason for acting and trying to, you know, find his dad, and also Akane figured out that, you know, that he is Ai's child. He and Ruby are Ai's children. Also, the style on your model 8 and left no crumbs. You're welcome or sorry? Anyway, but she doesn't know that he's like reincarnated. So he's like going on about this doctor that he used to know. And they're like, oh yeah, he went missing some time ago. And they're like, oh, that's odd. And then this Crow Girl shows up. We're gonna call her Crow Girl because she always shows up with crows and she's otherwise unnamed. That's what I was saying earlier, and I was like, is this character's name a spoiler? Because I see it on the like wiki page, but I don't think we're supposed to know it yet, so let's just not say that. Let's pretend we didn't see it. So we're just gonna keep calling her Crow Girl. So yeah, she is sitting in this tree, seemingly talking to the camera, and is like, oh wow, isn't it ironic? And like, isn't it ironic that, you know, the doctor guy didn't, you know, his mom died, his first mom died, and then dying girl, her parents did not come visit her in the hospital when she was dying because they were too busy with work. So she's like, oh, how ironic is it that, you know, two people with no mom, you know, got reincarnated to a woman who was about to give birth to soulless babies. I guess is how that one worked out. And I'm like, why do you know this? How much do you know? Are you an actual character or are you just a figment of my imagination? Like, we've had, outside of the reincarnation nonsense, we have not had, like, any supernatural business in this anime at all. But, like, until this Crow Girl showed up and started talking about it. So, like, I don't know, maybe does she have something to do with all this? She definitely has something to do with all this. Maybe she is, like, God or something, and she is, you know, I don't know. And I will find, and I don't want to know. Don't spoil. We'll find out when we watch the next season. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. She also appears in the opening. Meow, meow. Also, I like these backgrounds of, like, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, Japan in snowy times. It's fun. Listen, anime often does not have good backgrounds, so when anime does have good backgrounds, I like it. So, oh my gosh. Okay, we're hurrying up. We're almost done, I promise. We're gonna have an abrupt ending. That's my only other complaint about this season. I did change the topic. Yeah, 10 to 13. So yeah, we talk about Japan settings are real good. They are. And it's nice when anime actually does justice. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those mountains. Look at those snowy ass mountains. Anyway, so we get some backstory for Aqua's previous life. And then we get some backstory about Ruby's previous life. So the reason that she wants to become an idol is because she couldn't when she was, you know, a dying sick child. Even though she was a fan of idols, she could not in her previous life because she was dying and sick, and then died. And also another B because she wants to, you know, follow in her mom's footsteps and do what she couldn't do because she died. It's a lot of dying. There's a lot of dead parents in this series. What I was saying earlier is I think like parents are like parent drama, mommy issues, daddy issues are kind of like a reoccurring theme. So anyway, that's a second reason that Ruby wants to be an idol, so she can, you know, finally go to like the Tokyo Dome that her mother was never able to go to because she died before she could. That's why she wants to be a famous idol. And another reason that she wants to be a famous idol is that she wants to find Dr. Guy again. I forget Dr. Guy's name. I want to say Goto something. Man. But even oh no, there he is. Amamiya Goto. That's his name. Amamiya Goto. He was the doctor guy, who died and reincarnated as Aqua. The amount of deceased people in this anime is ridiculous. There's only like a handful. Those are like the three major deaths are the previous lives of Ruby and Aqua, and then Ruby and Aqua's mom. But also there's Dr. Guy's mom too, who is also dead. But I think that's it. Actually, yeah, no, there's two more. The alleged dad of Aqua and Ruby, and then also their half-brother's mom. Because they died in like a lover's quarrel or whatever they called it. Anyway, so the three reasons why Ruby wants to become an idol is because she couldn't when she was sick and dying, because she wants to follow in her mother's footsteps, and because she wants to find the doctor guy again, because she really looked up to the doctor guy, and you know he was there with her in her final moments before she died. So you know she really wants to find the doctor guy, and she thinks that if she becomes an idol and is like you know, that's why she chose the name of the idol group is New B Komachi when Ai's idol group was B Komachi, because she knows that Dr. Guy was a fan of Ai, so she's like, okay, if I make an idol group like Ai, then surely I will find Dr. Guy. So that was her whole reason. And as far as she knows, Dr. Guy is still alive and is just missing, because she called the hospital. And they're like, oh yeah, Dr. Guy, yeah, he disappeared about 16 years ago, and we haven't heard from him since. And she's like, he's probably off with some you know, girl trouble. We also get a flashback of a scene of Dying Girl giving Aqua a keychain. Dying Girl giving Dr. Guy a keychain. And Dr. Guy's being like, oh, I'll cherish it always. So she's like, I want to be an idol because I want to find Dr. Guy. And then what happens? They walk into what they do is they find the Dr. Guy's dead body. Is what they do with the keychain still on his person. Apparently Dr. Guy's body was, what did my ears just hear? They go into the cave. They're like this crow, which may or may not be controlled by Crow Girl. This crow leads them to, like, takes their keys to their hotel room and lures them into this cave where they find this dead body. And yeah, literally they were wandering through the forest chasing after this bird, and Ruby and Akane were talking about Dr. Guy, and Ruby is like, I can't wait to, my whole reason to be an idol was to be Dr. Guy. And she's imagining this moment where, like, she's doing a fan meetup and she finds Dr. Guy and she's like, oh my gosh, it's you, now we can finally be together. Because technically there's an age gap, but not really, there's not really an age gap, because this is my second life, but shut up, don't worry about it. But oh no, he's dead. And understandably, Ruby is not entirely happy about this. So yeah, leading, like, doing all of that, like, having that, like, happy, like, oh, this is my dream, and then immediately leading into the scene with the dead body and the keychain, like, absolutely nuts. That was a crazy ending to that episode. And also they changed the ending too, because in the ending scene, the ED, not like the ending of the anime, but like the ED, the ending song, they changed the ED, the ending theme song, because it used to just end on this bird, but then in this episode specifically, they added the bird was holding on to the bloody keychain, and I started screaming. It freaks me out. It just, listen, I know it's simple, but it literally freaks me out and gets me really excited and also panicked at the same time when an anime changes the ending to reflect what happened in the show, especially when things are serious. That's crazy. And then last episode, literal last episode. So yeah, that's who this character is in the opening, but I don't know who this character is in the opening because he has blonde. Maybe that's supposed to be Aqua because he has like blonde hair and the star eyes like Aqua, but he also has like the glasses and like doctor coat like the Doctor Man. So maybe, I don't know, or maybe that's supposed to be like their dad or something. I don't know who this character is. Don't tell me if it's a spoiler, but if it's not a spoiler, then don't tell me. Anyway, then we get a continuation of the breakup scene where Akane and Aqua were talking seriously about their relationship, and Aqua just basically is like, I don't know if we have any reason to, you know, be together, you know, our relationship is built on lies. I was just, you know, being together with you because I wanted to use you to try to get close to my father. And, you know, even if, now that that's over, you know, I still don't deserve to be with you or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, sweet Akane is like, I know, don't worry, I know that that's what you were doing, that you were just using our relationship for that, and I don't care, and I know that deep inside you are a nice person, because I've seen it firsthand. You saved me. Like, that wasn't for your own. Aqua's like, oh, I was only using you for my selfish gains, you know, I'm a selfish person. And Akane is like, I know you're not selfish because you saved my life, and you did that out of the kindness of your heart and for no benefit of your own. You know, that truly means that there's something, you know, even if you have an effed up past, there's something in you that, you know, is still good. Akane deserves better. I mean, yes and no at the same time. I mean, I agree with you, but also I'm kind of rooting for them at the same time. Does that make sense? Just because they are like, they're both like effed up in the head, so they're kind of perfect for each other. So Akane's like, I know that you think that you're a horrible person, but I know that there's good inside of you, and I don't care that you were just using me, but because and I still care about you. And she's like, we're okay. And then she like tries to break up with him. He's like, okay, I understand. She's like, I know that you were just using me and that our relationship is over, and but I still love you, but you could break up anyway. So she starts crying, and then yeah, she just like, oh god, that's another scene that effing hurt me. Where Akane was trying to like be like, yeah, it's okay, I understand, we there was no meaning to our relationship, it's okay. And then she's like, but I still love you. And then she starts crying, and then they go for the kiss, and he turns around and they go for the kiss. They're apparently sitting on a wheelchair waiting for the doctor to call me in for my ankle. This is literally like the second to last thing that happens. Then they effing kiss! So I guess they are officially a couple now. So Aqua's like, okay, I deserve that happiness, and I'm now 100% honest with Akane, and she still accepts me, so I'm going to continue pursuing this relationship. And then, so my prediction is that in the next season, he's going to find out that Akane figured out that his dad was still alive, and it didn't tell him, and he's going to be mad about it. But for now, they can be together. Anyway, last thing that happens in this show is that we go back to Ruby, who is currently distraught. Because, like, her whole reason for living is, to try to find Dr. Guy, and Dr. Guy is dead. So then Crow Girl comes back. She just kind of appears out of nowhere. And she's kind of cute, but also she's pretty evil. Yeah, like, she's always seen with crows. So, like, that's why, like, even in the opening, I think there was a crow. Not in this shot, but, like, whatever. In this shot, like, there's crows around her, and then when she appears next time, there's crows around her. And she's probably the one that led Ruby to that dead body. For what reason, I don't know. But anyway, Crow Girl is like, hey, I know what happened to the doctor guy. On the day that the doctor guy got murdered, there were 2 people stalking the hospital, you know. One of them was, the person that killed I, but he's dead, but the other person is still out in the middle of nowhere. Because yeah, the guy that killed I was later found is also dead. So yeah, there was a lot of death in the series, but still, the reason they found out, okay, if you watch the first season, you would find out that the reason that we know that Aqua's dad is behind I's death is because I contacted Aqua's dad the day she got murdered, and also the day that Dr. Guy got murdered. So it's so their dad is definitely related to the deaths, even if he did not do the killing explicitly. So basically, she's like, you know, the person who is behind. She basically just comes out and says, like, hey, the person who is behind Dr. Guy's death and your mom's death is still out there, and you gotta find him. So then, is another good shot. So then, Ruby goes evil! She's, like, bent for revenge, and she turns evil, and she is like, I'm gonna fucking murder that dude! And, I don't know, she doesn't necessarily say, like, oh, no, she does. I think she does say, I'm gonna slaughter him. Or, I'm gonna koroshite. Korosu. And so she's turning evil. So, but I'm not sure if she definitely says I'm gonna slaughter him, but she also is like, I hope that my brother finds our dad soon. Why do the plots get crazier? That's just the show, man. This is why you gotta pick it up. Watch season 1, watch the VOD of me discussing season 1, and then go watch season 2, and then rewatch this VOD. And then watch season 3 when it comes out. Anyway, yeah, that's where it ends. We end on this little cliffhanger, which what the fudge does it say? Yeah, the 15-year lie. I don't know what that is about. That's probably what the next arc is going to be about. But the series ends with them saying, like, okay, they finished editing the video. Then they went back home to Tokyo, and then their video basically blew up, and now it got like 1 billion views, and now Ruby's idol group is now like super famous. And then it's 6 months later. And that's where the story ends. And the story ends basically saying, like, and this is when our careers really began to take off. And then we get a little post-credit scene of some blue-haired person with the idol star in their eye dying by the hands of their evil dad. And then that's the end of the series. So, kind of a weird ending. It's kind of a weak ending. It's just kind of like Akane and Aqua officially are official now, and Ruby's evil. So like Aqua still doesn't know that his dad is alive, and but Ruby does know that the person behind Ai's death is alive. Also his their dad might have an accomplice that was also shown in this. Yeah, it's definitely like they had to pick some sort of ending, but they did confirm immediately, like after the last episode aired, that there will be a third season. So it's a bit anticlimactic because like Aqua doesn't really have any motivation, and Ruby's evil, I guess. So I don't know. It's a bit of an awkward ending, but like again, they're gonna make another season, so we just gotta wait. It's not as good of an ending compared to season 1, where season 1 was like, hey, I got more information about your dad, but you gotta, you know, be in this play. And they're like, okay, let's do it. And then ending the season. This season just kind of ended like, okay, I guess everything's fine now. I'm gonna go kiss my girlfriend. Nobody clip that out of context, because it will be nothing but lies. I'm okay now. Anyway, back to talking about anime. So yeah, that's the end of the season. Nah. We'll just have that on screen. Now, you know what we're gonna have on screen? While I give my quick thoughts and make sure that I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. We'll do this. Yeah, so yeah, we got a kind of a cliffhanger ending, you know, evil dad is still alive. And it's just kind of like a to be continued. But there's another season happening. So yeah, ending, I like Akane as a character. I talked about this a couple times throughout the discussion, but yeah, I kind of really grew on me this season. She's, you know, a hard worker by like reverse engineering everything. So like, you know, she writes down notes and is like, okay, this is how this works, and like is basically skilled because she works so hard and reverse engineers like people's acting skills to try to replicate them and figure out like what makes them tick. But so she's really good at analyzing things. That's how, and she's very smart. That's how she figured so much out about Aqua's past. But I also understand how that kind of like overanalyzing and thinking can be detrimental. So because like, you know, I clipped it. No, don't. Yeah, because I understand how that kind of overanalyzing thinking can be detrimental, because definitely I've done that where I like overanalyze something so hard and then go down a really dark path, and I think that's kind of what happened in that, how she got to that like dark spot in season 1. So that's another reason why I kind of want to watch season 1 again. I also like her because she's super supportive of Aqua for a good reason, because, you know, he saved her life. She can also see the good in him, and she was also like willing to just murder. Like she's very much like, I don't know, it's a little bit between like being just a cute supportive anime waifu, and she actually has legit reason to act the way that she does, because, you know, Aqua did save her during the darkest period of her life, so, you know, whatever. So yeah, overall, I think I enjoyed this season more than season 1. I don't know. It might be because it's better and less preachy, I feel, but also it might just be because I understand it better now after, you know, the first season and like the stream talking about it. So, you know, that is like a tendency that I have. I do tend to like shows more on a rewatch, so it could be related to that. But I do feel that the anime overall was like, my problems with the first season were like lessened, because I feel like this wasn't as preachy as the first season. Point is, they're both messed up and they need to go to therapy, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I'm an Oshi no Ko fan now. few more quick notes. The show does have I'm watching it in Japanese, but the show does have a dub. So if anyone wants to check that out and tell me how good it is, let me know. I do know that in the dub, they call, they translate Oshi no Ko's title to My Star, which is, I think, a very good translation, because Oshi no Ko, Oshi is like your favorite among an idol group, and Ko is child, so like the Oshi's child kind of works. But My Star kind of works in a different context, because, you know, they got stars in their eyes and they want to be stars, and I was a star, so whatever. I found a dub. I'll watch it, tell you how it is. Yeah. The only reason I don't want to watch the dub is because I really like Akane's voice, and yeah, it was Akane and Ruby, I think, are the two actors that I really like. Voice actresses that I really like. And yeah, there is a season 3 already confirmed. We actually might see a complete anime adaptation, because looking at the chapters covered, we're already like halfway through the series, and season 3 is already confirmed. So we might, like, it seems like we'll only need like one more season for the next series. So I don't know, because right now we're at chapter 80 out of like 166. So yeah, I don't know. As for the next anime discussion, it will probably be, I'm not sure yet. It is undecided. We have not decided on I've not decided on the next anime to discuss. Ideally, it would be Bleach, because I kind of want to finish the Arrancar arc before the game comes out, because the game is going to cover the Arrancar arc, and we only have like 4 more discussions left and 2 movies before we get to the end of that arc, so it'd be nice to finish doing the rewatch of that before the game comes out. But Azard is still missing. And I thought he came back from his time in Survivor, but I guess not. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure he's there. He just has a lot going on. So if we can get a hold of him, it'll probably be the Bleach discussion next. But if I can't get a hold of him, I do have another anime stream series I could do that's not a discussion. Yeah, I'll probably end up doing that if that happens. So more anime streams will happen soon, one way or the other. It'll probably either be Bleach, or it will be trying to finish the Arrancar arc of Bleach, which is 4 more discussions and 2 movies. Or it'll be a secret other thing, which I will do one way or the other, by the way. It is a thing that I've been meaning to do for a while. But it will be another, like, anime series that will not be a discussion. But yeah. Give me some suggestions for other anime discussion series you want me to do. We'll also continue Pokemon. My time has come. Time to spend a few hours getting my ankle checked by. Have a good rest of your night or day. I'll be pulling up for the next discussion. Thanks. You should watch the show. too. If you go to my channel, go to anime discussions, then you can see all the episodes of Bleach we've already covered, and then go to my community tab and you can see the upcoming ones. Or I could also just post my filler list to Blue Sky. So, yeah. Well, it sounds interesting. And again, I'm also willing to take recommendations. I know another stream, I think Tevin was like, oh yeah, Rama 1/2 is good. And I'm like, I should really watch Rama 1/2, you know, considering, you know, me. The only reason I haven't watched Rama 1/2 is because I keep hearing, I heard a lot of, like, mixed things about the anime adaptation. About how it's, like, mostly filler. But they're doing a remake, and that will probably remove all the filler, so I might watch that. But that won't be until, like, next year, because I want to wait until, like, that just started airing, and I want to wait till there's, like, at least, like, 12 episodes before, they want me waiting 5 minutes. Great, you can hear me yap for 5 more minutes. Anyway, yeah. Rama 1/2 is on my list, is on my radar. Jujutsu Kaisen, I know, is also something I've talked about before, and then, Poke was like, hey, I like that show too. so we might do that. Yeah, because Poke is right that the fact that I had Azurid, Dom, and Yish, not the Yish, Azurid, Dom, and Chris pick out an anime to discuss. Not really Azurid, because I wanted to do Bleach anyway, but you get the idea. It would take us a whole century to discuss One Piece. I might be willing to discuss the One Piece anime remake. That might be something I'd be willing to do. Because if I can keep up with that as it's airing, you know, do like 10, 15 episodes at a time, then that would be better than trying to get caught up on like 10 billion episodes. Even cutting out filler, I still think it's like 700 episodes. But yeah, if you have any ideas, you can put them in the comment section below. I'm not just telling you to make a comment because I want engagement. I actually care. It drives me insane when YouTubers are like, what do you guys think about the Call of Duty Gears of War 3? Tell me about it in the comments below. And I'm like, they don't give a flying frick what you have to say about Call of Duty. But I do care what you have to say about anime. So, because I'm just like picking anime at random at this point to do discussions on. The reason I did Oshi no Ko is because I was going to watch it anyway. Because it looked interesting, and that's also really popular. So I'm like, hey, maybe other people might be interested in it. And Bleach was because it was upcoming, or because it was getting a new season. Anyway, yeah, look some anime up. Put it in the comments. Because if you tell me in the live stream chat, I will immediately forget as soon as the on-screen message fades away out of existence. But yeah, that's the current plan, is to maybe finish Bleach, because I want to finish the Ironcart arc. But Azard is still missing. But if that doesn't happen, I have another non-anime discussion series that we can do. Yeah, put that in the comments, because I will again, the second that fades away, I will completely forget that you said it. Watch it. You can see it in real time. You can see this comment in real time. So anyway, if you have any anime recommendations, definitely let me know, because I am just flying blind here and I don't know what people want. I get the feeling that a lot of people like shonen, and I'm definitely willing to do that, because I like shonen too, but that's not like just the only thing I like. So yeah. Because I also like Oshi no Ko, and Oshi no Ko is anything but a shonen. Okay, it turned into a shonen for like a couple episodes during that play, but you get the idea. Anyway, yeah, but yeah, hopefully the next discussion is Bleach. But if we still can't find Azured because didn't get voted off the island yet, then we'll probably I have another anime stream series that I could do that's not a discussion. So keep just look out in the community page, and I will keep you updated on what's going on there. So that's it. We're done. I'm actually done. Dr. Nurse just came in. I really need to go now. It's a nurse. I'm actually tweaking. We both need to stop. But yeah, Oshi no Ko Season 2 is good. I will probably discuss Season 3 when it comes out. I don't think that has a release date yet. I think they just said it's happening. Yeah, unknown. What was the distance between the first and second season? I want to say it was only a year. April 23, June 23, and then Season 2 was July 24, October 24. So yeah, probably sometime late next year, maybe late 2025, early 2026. I don't know. Anyway, just actually leaving. Goodbye. Never mind, she just left. Okay, let's stay here for a little bit longer. No, actually leaving. And sorry that this was... Yeah, thank you for anyone who has watched this far. I'm a little rusty with anime discussions. I have not done one of these in like almost a year, but hopefully there will be more. There will definitely be more soon, even if Azeroth disappears off the face of the earth and we can never find him again. There will be other anime discussions soon, do not worry. And yeah, more streams soon. Bye. Yeah, that's it. Actually, bye. Goodbye. I think we did all of my notes. Yeah. I looked for this. We're done. Goodbye. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching me ramble about anime, my favorite thing in the world. And anime is cool. Anime is awesome. You should watch some anime. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you at next stream. And until then, I hope you have a good day, and I hope nobody watching this breaks any more ankles. And most of all, stay fresh, cheese bags.